What's going on? Joseph Robinson here. How y'all doing today? Let me go ahead and get this music paused. You know I like to stay motivated. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you are all over the world. If there is if you can hear the sound really well, please put a 1 in the chat. If the sound is good, put a 1 in the chat. All right, we're good. Okay, so I'm actually waiting on one of the space hosts, Mr. Williams, here to go live. Supposed to be joining him on the channel here on Twitter or X. And, you know, I'll try to do my best to be prompt on things. And so it is 6 o'clock UTC time, which would be 1 o'clock here. And looks like we're getting ready to go in here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm thinking, I don't know if you can go live on online or not from your desktop. That's what I'm trying to do. I may have to use my phone. Give me a second, y'all, while I figure this out. Thanks for being patient. Okay. Well, he's not live anymore. All right. So in the meantime, while he's getting the panel back up, we'll continue. How y'all doing today? What is going on out there in the world? It's Saturday. Hopefully, you all are having a little bit of fun out there, enjoying your time. What's going on, Christine? Crypto Priest. What's going on, Katisha? Princess John, I see you. She says, everyone smash the like button. One of my mods there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tiffany, I see you. KT in the house. All right, hold on. I'm watching to see if William's going to be on here so we can talk about. I'm supposed to be doing a Web3 motivation talk today, and I tried to be on time. I think I was on time. But now I can't seem to get in from online. Again, folks, I may have to do my phone. If not, then we'll just take a look at the market and see where we're at. I might have to revisit his space at a later time. Let me see if he's. Okay. So anyway, instead of keeping y'all on hold, I'll have to get back with him to find out what's happening. Looks like he started the space, but may have had some difficulties there, like I had. Anyway. So again, hopefully you have been watching the market. Let's get over to the market really quick, and then I'll come back and see if he's available. If not, then we'll just continue where we're at. Hopefully you have been watching the market. We have had a little bit of a major, I say a little bit, but I want to say a major pullback. The halving is in 28 days, and so it may be in preparation for that. Bitcoin was raging at what 73,000, I think, last week or week before last, what have you. Um, and of course, you heard recently that we had a partial, I believe, a partial shutdown, government shutdown. I think it's a little bit more than that, and 1.2 what trillion dollars or spending cap. The money's supposed to something the other day about that. That is a lot of money that's definitely going to be needed for. I don't know if it's funding this war or what that is unseen right now. But of course, everything starts to pop off when it's time for a new president. I'm not trying to get political, but that's just the way it is. So Bitcoin. Let's go back for the year. Bitcoin topped off at right around $73,000. And with that came a lot of pumps in the market. We're talking Solana, we're talking Ethereum, we're talking altcoins that decided to pump along with Bitcoin. Hold on. What's this thing? Okay. That decided to pump alongside with Bitcoin. And Solana at one point was in the number 4 spot where BNB is right now. Hopefully you did not forget about BNB chain. But I mean, if you look at it, a lot of this happens every year in terms of who's taking what spot. The number one spot has been Bitcoin for the longest time since the beginning of this cryptology, this crypto thing, Web3, and all of that. So I think what I was going to discuss earlier was about Web3, and I think some people are not really paying attention to where we are headed. With Web3, hold on, what's going on? What's happening here? Am I having technical difficulties on my pewter? What's up, Johnny? All right. So I think that a lot of people don't really understand, um, you know, the Web3 concept and where we are headed, and all about non-custodial finance. And I mean that was the whole thing with Bitcoin, right? And where we were going with Bitcoin, and the whole purpose behind Web3 and custody of your own money. And big government, they don't want that. You start speaking all this language about non-custodial and being able to transact without the government knowing what the heck is going on. um they definitely do not like that. So I mean, you have to be careful in terms of what you decide to get into and where you decide to put your money, and in terms of um the future of AI, right? The future of the banking industry, whether or not banks will be around in the next, 5 to 10 years. I think they will. I think they will. It's all speculation. I don't think they're going anywhere. But crypto, however, is what you want to call it. I say just the tip of the spear there. You look at underlying technology, blockchain, basically distributed ledger. You know, you're able to read information from the ledger, the blockchain, right? Like think of it as a the bank, right? And they have a ledger to keep track of all of your transactions, and you do as well. The ledger. Think of it as your business. Um, you're doing this the same thing when you're keeping track of all your finances, right? So basically, you look at it as a database that's hosted by this huge freaking network, um, and it's bunch of main computers set up all over instead of just one single server. So and that's part of the blockchain in Web3. So we can really spend all day talking about it, but if you look at NFTs and the industry of NFTs, and how artwork is being sold for millions, 69 million, it's a $41 billion industry in terms of Web3 and where we are going, and I think it's going to be even more than that. But meanwhile, businesses and leaders that are out there, they're still trying to make sense of Web3 and its potential uprise, and even the pitfalls that's rapidly changing all over. And so organizations now with the ETFs and Bitcoin, they are really trying to get ahead of the game. They really are with this. So, I think, in my opinion, it is just the beginning. Even you think back in the day when the government first sent their first message online, which you could have somewhat considered that not necessarily a blockchain, but sending messages on web or Web one. Again, we're at Web three now, but being able to navigate through HTML and static pages and sending messages. So, and look where we are now. Web 1, Web 2.0, Web 3 now. So, and Web 2 generally is considered centralization. And now we are at the point of decentralization where I can take a ledger or my phone, which that's somewhat still being tracked, but you see what I'm saying? Where I can now send digital assets to another person all the way across the world with no problem. And it may cost a couple $100, may cost a few cents. It just depends on the blocks and what's happening, and what these miners are charging at the time. So the blockchain, look at the blockchain as a super type of computer where we're headed, and I love it. As much as I like to trade, coins in and out and invest in cryptocurrency, just to let you guys know, listen, it is much bigger than that, and we have to look at it as being much bigger than that. And again, what is that going to mean for future companies and being able to take cryptocurrency and being able to send messages, um, you know, on the blockchain and transact on the blockchain and create processes and programs on the blockchain. I mean, businesses will have more control over the information that they have internally, and even externally as well. So you got to look at that. I mean, think about. I have a couple friends that worked at Microsoft, and they kind of knew what was coming. They've accepted cryptocurrencies for years, but people weren't paying attention to that. So anyway, I'm glad where technology is going, and a lot of skeptics out there would say, no, we're not in it. We don't want to deal with it. There's going to be a problem. We're going to have even more hacks, and we don't want the people to have that much control, because at that point things become unpredictable. The government doesn't want you to have that much control where they can't predict, you know, or speculate your next move in terms of financing or finances. They want to be able to have control over, your finances and everything that you do. And again, for right now, most of that money that's in cryptocurrency in technology goes back to what? It goes back to fiat. And the idea behind that is people want to limit that. They don't want that money going back into, or the government anyway. They're not that government, but people who are decentralized don't want that money going back into fiat. But outside of Bitcoin, there's really no way to transact. Um, I mean, you can buy a house. You can buy a house with Bitcoin. I've never heard anyone buying a house with Ethereum unless they're doing, again, blockchain, ledger trading, transactions. But eventually, you got to track that, especially when it comes to your taxes, things of that nature. That kind of stuff needs to be tracked right now. So I mean, eventually, it'll get to the point to where it's not, and that's where the government has a problem, has issues being able to track that. And I think as the software engineers come about in the future, they'll learn different ways on how to digitally code that, and you can simply make those kind of transactions a little bit faster for the environment and everyone else that's out there. So we shall see in the future. But right now, we need to be making some money out here while we can, because I don't know how long this is going to last. And if you look over here to the right hand side, you see where the fear and the index, fear and greed index is. Let me read that so you'll have a pretty much a big perspective on what that means for the market. So when the value is closer to zero, the market is in extreme fear, and investors have oversold pretty much irrationally. When the value is closer to 100, right now we're at 75. A couple weeks ago, we were at, well, just last week, I think we were at 89. That's the highest I'd seen it in a while, 85, between 85 and 89. But for the most part, it says when the value is closer to 100, the market is in extreme greed, indicating a likely market correction. Okay, so and I think that's what we're seeing right now. Will this get lower? Um, I believe that it will. We may range at the 70 72 mark. And again, it depends on what's happening with Bitcoin, and people start to get into that fear. Oh, I got to sell all my assets. I got to get out. Again, it is okay to take profit. Believe that. But if you believe in an asset that is undervalued extremely, then you never want to 100% pull out. If you believe in it, you have to believe in it, regardless of what people are saying. Regardless, you need to look at the technical aspect of things here, not just what's trending. And although I love what's trending, but again, the trend is your friend until the trend is no longer your friend, and things are starting to go sideways. Just think about how these last few months, the market has just been pounding and pounding and pushing, and billions and billions of dollars transacting through cryptocurrency, and the euphoria behind you know where Bitcoin is going, Ethereum, and of course everything else that follows from that. The euphoria of people being able to make money in a faster way. I mean, you just think about it. If I can be at my job for 40 hours a week, 45, and now people are working 60, 70, 80 hours they're working, right? Over the amount of time that you normally, a normal 40-hour work week has gone up to 60. Depending on, you might have two jobs, you just may be taking 16-hour days. But to come home with a $1,000, 1,200, $2,200 paycheck, could be a month, could be a week, depending on what your job is, and living off of that, and not seeing any other return outside of you going to work, your effort, your labor to bring that money back in again. You're tired, You're exhausted. I mean, even if you're running your own business, even though it may be a passion for you, but at some point you get exhausted, you get tired, and you have to think of other ways of being able to bring in passive income. And so you look at the stock market, you look at the cryptocurrency market, you look at different ways. And if you're able to bring home consistently, a couple $100, $300, $400, $1,000 a day, just trading, that should be something you want to look into. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have the knowledge. You found how to go to work and work the fry machine at McDonald's. They taught you how to shake, go in the freezer, get the brown bags. I say it's because I worked at McDonald's. I think they're still brown. Get the brown bags out of the. You take this little cart, go in the freezer, get the brown bags, put them on the car, pull the cart out, come over to your fry station, wash your hands, whatever, put your gloves back on, open the brown bag, put it in the little fryer, and then press the button on the fryer and put the fries in the oil. And you let it sit for 2.5, 3 minutes, whatever it is now. I don't know what it is now. They got these super fryers where they can fry anything within 30 seconds. That's not real. That's not reality. Anyway, so the processes of you being able of you working and doing this over and over, you learned how somebody taught you how to do that and cook it the right way. You take them out, you dump them in a little the side area there where the fries go, where you've had some fries have been sitting there for maybe 20 minutes. Put your salt on it, and then the next representative customer service rep takes the fries, puts them in the fry bin, and sends them off to the customer. It's a process. You learn how to do that. So if you want to excel at something, you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort to learn how to do it. And why wouldn't you not want to learn how to passively make some income in the stock market? I've been and I'm not the overall expert, but I've been in the market since I want to say at the age of 17, and I still don't know it all. A lot of it's just been me grinding, um, and take some classes here and there on how to invest in this and that, and what are mutual funds? What are the old dinosaur days now? But mutual funds are good. I don't want to. I'm not saying they're not CDs, but you can you can make so much more passively without putting your money in a CD. And guess what? You put your money in CD, the banks they're making money off of you. They'll give you a percentage back at the end of maybe $600 off of your 6,000, whatever. But they're making a lot more. Why? Because they're trading your money. And so these are the things that you need to know as you're building and you're developing your skill set with trading and learning, charts and scales and options and all of that. It's not an overnight thing, but you hear these stories of these 14, 15, 16, 17 year olds dumping their money into cryptocurrency and coming out millionaires overnight or in a couple days. And that those scenarios are true, but they're not for the everyday person. If I could convince you to say, Dre, I'm going to give you $1,000 of my money. Take this $1,000 and make me $1,000,000. There's no way I can guarantee that. It's not that I'm not confident that I could do it, but there's no way I would guarantee. I would say, hey, I'm going to take your $1,000 and I'm going to flip it 1,000 times. That's just not going to work. So you have to learn how to dig in. You might say, "Yeah, I trust Dre. He's proven himself." Okay, but I don't tell you all my losses that I've taken over the years on, the setbacks, the 500 I've lost in order to make, you know, 15,000, or the $15,000 that I've lost in order to make 50,000, or the 50,000 that I've lost in order to make, down the road. And no one wants to take those kind of losses. So yes, education is important. And so if just kind of bring it back to, if you got into Bitcoin anytime during, if you look here, this is the all time, but anywhere between 2021 and 2022, you would be up tremendously. But who knew we were going here? I mean, at some point, Bitcoin was going to make its way back to the all time high. At some point, even higher, and which it did, right? At some point. And that's when you start hearing those things, dollar cost average your way in. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're dollar cost averaging your way in. That those things are important, because if you bought at the top, guess what? And that sucker starts going back down like it did. You bought at 73,000 and now it's at 65. Well, you're not in profit. So I said all that to say, listen, you need to learn the process. Um, and I have a lot of degenerate friends or associates, confidence on this live, on this stream, that's following me, that have followed me in two plays, that have made some significant gains, and you may have even lost some money as well through the process, but you take ownership of that. But again, it is important to educate yourself on the technology, like we were talking about, of Web3, and what ultimately that comes right back to Web3, and how things are starting to grow. We're, being able to again send somebody some money via Bitcoin or Ethereum around the world in less than 30 seconds. I don't have to go the Western Union route or the PayPal route. I can shoot you some Bitcoin. Where are you in the grand of things here? Where are you putting your money? Where are you investing? And yeah, people want the book of memes, the ones that will do a, 1000x. I mean, just think, if and just in perspective, okay? This is perspective. I didn't even hear, and I would, you know what? I was a little. I know I'm jumping around here, but when my mind is scattered, hopefully I'm making sense. If I'm making sense, put a one in the chat. Um, and again, this is perspective, and these are rare. Okay, it happens, but they're, and I say they're rare because not everyone's going to hear about opportunities that come up like this, because they just come. Sometimes they come out of nowhere, and you're just the one of the people, one of the in gamblers or investors, however you want to say it, that just so happened to buy a certain percentage of this, whatever it was, this meme, this no utility, has no purpose token, just a face with, it looks like a frog, a smushed up frog face, and it means nothing. Don't let somebody sit here and tell you that these things, they mean nothing. There's nothing. There's no utility. There's nothing behind it outside of Bo May. It's called Book of Meme. Bo May is just a meme, so they mean nothing. So it's just, people making money, putting their money in and taking their money out, putting their money in, taking their money out. They're making. So again, if you just so happen to come across this on the 14th of March, what, 8 days ago, 11 days ago, I don't know. You can hear my frustration because I missed it. But if you just so happen to come in on the 14th of March and this thing was 0009, whatever, not even a penny, and it shot up to, let's say you bought a million for whatever, $100, 2 cents. What's that? 20,000? Or you spent 1,000, I'm sorry. And it's at 2 cents now. What's that, 20,000? You got a million. So, 20 cents, 250,000. Of course, a dollar, which that was not really likely. That would have taken a lot more money. But you see what I'm saying? Excuse me. You have to make yourself available um, for these kind of opportunities that generally don't last too long. This lasted, all this happened in 2 days from the 0009 to 2 cents. Went up to a was it $2 billion market cap? On This is on Solana chain. I think it went to a $2 or $3 billion market cap. Maybe $1 billion. So, um, you may catch it and you may not, but these kind of opportunities are rare. And like I said, when I say rare, meaning that everyone is not going to catch them. There isn't a secret sauce. You may see some technical things or the chart patterns and all of that, but when it comes to you know these memes running up, these suckers are just going to run up, and you're either at the bottom, the middle, or the top. And if you're at the top, I'm sorry, because guess what? The ones who came in at the middle, who were especially at the bottom, they're tagging the ones in the middle. The middle's coming in saying, I'm waiting for the suckers that come in. The suckers, I said, the suckers that come in at the top. Why? Because you bought the top. So you've just created liquidity for the ones in the middle and even the ones down at the bottom who are still taking profit. And it's a cycle over and over and over and over again, over again, over again. It repeats every single day. There's nothing new here. Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing new. There's nothing different. It's a money pit. You put your money in, you make some money, you take it out. That's really not technical. You don't have to get too technical here outside of unless the meme or the token has established itself, and then you can kind of see the regulatory or the chart patterns, the consistency of the buys and sells and things of that nature. At some point, those remain consistent. Those flag patterns, the chart patterns, at some point those remain consistent. But in the beginning, no. All you're looking at is volume, money going in, and saying, how can you capitalize on the trend, the uptrend of this chart, this money? Is it producing millions of dollars of volume, billions of dollars of volume? I mean, you really have to look at that. How much volume is going in a 24-hour period? That was just one. And there was another one that came out that somewhat did the same thing. I'll have to find it. So listen, folks, there's no secret sauce. In the bull run, everybody's a genius. Why? Because most likely, if someone says, "Hey man, get in the book of meme," all right, and it makes them $10,000. You're the greatest on this earth. You're the greatest. But if someone would have told you to get into this one here, this sucker, Smole, right? I heard BNB Bull talking about this earlier today. Small. I don't jump into everything like I used to. Sucker ran up. They burnt $30 million in liquidity, whatever the case. It's a whole story behind this. But if you would have gotten in on this one, I think there was a pre-sale too. You'd be wrecked right now. You'd be wrecked. Done. So you have those with strong communities, and I would like to. I'm not going to necessarily say honest or dishonest developers or whatever. It's just it could be a group of people who don't know anything about developing. You can anyone a 14-year-old can go and create a contract and call it Katisha. And next thing you know, Katisha starts blowing up. You've probably heard something about all these racist memes that's been going around. There was one, and it was kind of funny, right? And that was actually the first one that I had seen. Um, it was called "Nigga with Hat." Seriously, it was called Nigga with Hat. This one's called "Nigga Butt." Like what? I have to find it anyway. This listen, folks, do not and again, if unless you're in the blue chip, don't take any of these things seriously at all. Look at them as they're money, they're money pits. It's just they're fly by nights. Do not take these things seriously. I remember when I was caught up in utility. I wasn't looking at the really technical aspect of, but it was more of I was caught up in utility in what these projects had to have to offer. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but I'm just saying that the majority of these memes that come out, that's what they are. They're memes. They're exactly that, a meme token, which means it's just it's something you make fun of something else. You just create it's a narrative. So a lot of people do not win, and the ones who do, they get out and they move on to something else. But I was caught up in the utility side of the house. Well, this meme has utility, and then at some point they start building you know some type of real world product, a wallet or something that's easy that's not going to cost them millions and millions of dollars. They have to at some point prove that we are who we say we are, and we're going to do what we say what we said we were going to do. And here we are. We have a wallet. We have a DeFi wallet, or we're creating a blockchain, or we have a t-shirt company that we're starting, or we have a bot, right? Of course, you've got millions and millions of dollars coming in at some point. Again, if you're building, you want to make something of it. But not again, 90% they won't make it. Just think of the ones that came out years ago. Some of them are still around. Those people are starting to pump them again and to make you believe that it's doing something, but it's not. They're just pumping money into it. These market makers. Oh man, look, Monarchy Inu is pumping. Look at this pumping, man. Well, somebody threw a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 in it and went up. That's the volume the most volume they've seen in weeks, months, a year, and it blows up. Oh, look at this! This coin is pumping. Oh, look at Serenity, it's pumping. So again, if you're new to the space, look and understand what Web3 is. Get your basic understanding of what Web3 is, decentralization and all of that. Then look at your top 10 tokens that's out there, the ones that have, I guess, made it. that have utility, that does something, store value or proof of work, proof of stake. It's a gas token. For what it has a real purpose that will continue to grow and expand its utility, its nature, it's what it was really designed to do. It has their marketing is together. They know exactly what they're doing. They're bridging the gap. They're making things the ecosystem better. Top 10, even top 20, I would say. Um, those that are lower than that can become the top 10, but it will take a lot of money pushing through. I mean, you still have undervalued, even with VeChain, is still very undervalued. Theta Network, Maker, XMR. There's a lot of them that are way undervalued. And will you make a lot of money with these? Not in the short term, unless you know how to trade, um, leverage trade. You're not going to make a lot of money with unless you have big money to spend. You're not going to make a lot of money in your top 10, your top 20, your top 30, your top 100. Um, it will take some time to grow. I mean, we just seen what SHIB did in terms of growth this year. The sucker went to 0.0003, right? It wasn't the all-time high, um, about 25%. I would say a little over 25% of the all-time high. So there's money to be made. We just have to have a lot of volume coming in to push it up. And what comes with that is marketing, is people getting excited about what's coming, newer developments. So as you know, SHIB is in the top 20, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, SHIB is number 12. I think it was higher than that not too long ago. But Doge is still sitting around. So if you're new, those would be the ones to definitely take a look at in terms of the future technology, where Web3 is going, and where we're headed for the future in terms of what it's going to do. I mean, Dogecoin, for instance, at some point you'll be able to, you can buy merch with it, but I think Elon's trying to make it to the point where he's going to implement the Dogecoin into Tesla. You can buy merch, but you can't buy Tesla with it. So once that happens, the next catalyst for Doge would be, stability right around, I would say 50, 60 cents after a huge pump over a dollar. Huge pump and then retrace back to 50, 60 cents. All he has to do, I mean, and even Elon tweeting about Doge, it doesn't have the same effect as it did 4 years ago. So listen, um, learn about Web3 technology, learn about non-custodial, learn about what it takes to run a crypto company, cryptocurrency, what it takes to do that. Just give yourself give yourself that value of learning what to do, of what cryptocurrency is about. Even if you don't care, you're just like, I just want to make. And a lot of people that's following, they're saying, he's speaking a different language. Well, yeah. At some point, I think you look at where technology is going. You're like, yeah, I want to speak a different language. Why? Because I have different people that's following. I don't just have people who like to throw their money at something and make $1,000, $100,000 or whatever the case. I have people who need to learn about the other side of cryptocurrency, you know, some of the basic things, and then we can go on to more technical things later on down the road in terms of Web3 and things of that nature, what to look for. But I do my best to try to keep it as simple as possible. If I find something that I feel that's notable, that's worth putting your money in to make something, I'll talk about it because I'm personally invested in it as well. So I'm going to talk about it. And most likely, if I'm talking about something, I will have a some skin in the game. You hear me say that? If I say I don't have any skin in the game, then I don't have my money in it. So again, the future of cryptocurrency, blockchain is only getting better, and you need to stay up on that. And eventually, you'll start going into businesses, and you'll see companies. Most likely, they will be accepting crypto or Bitcoin first before others, unless it's it could be a smaller company that just says, "Hey, I want to accept SHIB, or I want to accept, um, you know, um, Pepe or whatever, BNB, Dogecoin, whatever, USDC. I don't know." At some point, those things will be a little bit more consistent down the road. But as for now, this is as technology continues to grow, you'll have to dig a little bit deeper outside of your everyday norm if you want to keep up with what's happening. Right. So a lot of individuals don't understand what the Bitcoin halving is. There's a video here. You can learn about it. What happens? I'll read this little deal here. The Bitcoin halving is a pre-programmed event that reduces the reward given to crypto miners by half approximately every 4 years. The halving is essential because it ensures that the supply of Bitcoin is kept in check and prevents inflation. The reduction of mining rewards means that the demand for Bitcoin is expected to increase and its value is likely to surge in response. So that's what people are anticipating. I agree with that. And this is supposed to happen every 2,000 or 210,000 blocks, or roughly every 4 years. So, with the most recent having occurred May 2020, I remember reducing the reward from 12.5 to 6.25 BTC per block. The Bitcoin halving plays a crucial role in the long term viability and scarcity of Bitcoin. So we went from 12.5 to 6.25. That's half. So we'll go to what? 3.0, 3.2. What's half of 6.25? Half of 6 is 3. So 2.75. Um so yeah, do your go take a look, watch the video, but that's in 28 days. So anticipate a little bit more growth. Watch Bitcoin. If you're watching Bitcoin, you're watching Ethereum, you're watching Solana, you'll understand what's about to take place. But we couldn't stay. Listen, folks, we couldn't stay at 73,000 for too long, right? Not for too long. If you go back and look at the history, we didn't stay at 70 or 60,000, 67,000 for too long, right? A few days. But as we're approaching this halving, things would be a little different. And the last halving was March 2020. Did it say March? Let me see. I think it said March, the last one. Okay, May. So last one was May of 2020. Let's go May of 2020. Where were we in price discovery? May. We were at 2020, $6,191 Bitcoin, somewhere around there, over a little over 6,000, right? And we started to climb from there. And we hit the first all-time high of 61 in April. Price discovery all the way down to 32, 2 months. That took us 2 months. Newer higher high, or no, higher low. And then we shot up, which some people would call the moon. So, it's almost like the same pattern over and over and over and over again. Different variables here, different levels, but the patterns for Bitcoin, they're pretty consistent. After an all-time high, what do you think is coming next? More all-time highs within that period of time. There has to be a cool off period. I don't care if you got the greatest product in the world. At some point, there have to be a cool off period. And you got to reset, recycle that money, come back in. I mean, a 28% loss is 28%. Anyway, let's go over to let me see what's going on with William. Let me see. Did he ever start the space back up again? Is he in the space? I can't even tell. Um, oh, there he is, right there. Let me see. Let's see if I can listen. Will I be able to speak? Hold on.
I will take my time to do my research. I will try to verify it. There was a model I come across today. So concerning how the weeks goes or whatever, my week just starts today. Funny enough, my week begins today, Monday, and it ends today's Monday because at least I achieved all I should have achieved from the beginning of the week just today. So connection, your network is your network. Your network is know the kind. It's just a matter as to let you to open your ears, open your head to who are the kind of people you are interacting it with. Which circles are you? Who do you have? Like now, I'm a community manager. I've been trying to have get to know the fact that as a community manager, you have to understand and have a little knowledge concerning graphic designer, concerning moderator, concerning every other activities that happen in the community because you are the manager. You have to manage them all. So you can't just manage what you don't know about. I'll just have a rest like I'm a Muslim. I just finished fasting. I have to take my break. It's just that the space is very interesting. Whenever I had Williams, Ruthie, Victor, those guys are my men. Dixon, Beast. I will just want to be on the space. I don't know why. Thanks for having me once again.
Okay, I'm really glad to have you all right here with us. It is really, really amazing. So we actually just have JRE in the building. He just joined us. I want to see those love emojis coming up. He just joined up us on the space. So let those love emojis come up. Let those love emojis come up. Let's. Okay, so Maxi, your hand was actually up, Maxi. So quickly just actually just go ahead with what you were about to say, Mazi, please.
Yeah. It's just to like what Damo said. He said something like sometimes it's good to like get phone number or yes and view status and all that. Yeah, I know it's good though, but some of them, even if like it gets to some point that to me, if it gets to some point that okay, I'm just leaving your contact to like it's just for like okay, maybe my contact is 500, you not get value. Sometimes I will just like take it to like just archive your chat or all these kind of things. So like you see all these jobbers, all these Web3 jobbers, I don't even have time to chat normally. All my friends don't ever have chat. If it's not like you come to my DM, okay, after I see this work, oh, okay, after I see this something, see something, okay, I have to do collab, I have to do something like this. I will not chat you, except it's a job. I'm looking for invites. I will just send you, okay, I try this guy, maybe run this thing, okay. But you see all these people like this, they will just say, they will just say, I've been new bio, I not get anything to share, give you. Mostly, they always say that I not get anything to share, give you. I'm a newbie. So if you say I'm a newbie, okay, wait till your uncle come myself. I just a 2 years old. Sorry, 2 days old in this place, not even a newbie. So it's very, very sometimes all these newbies sometimes they will just like because most of them paid for the class and all that. Anybody they want to connect with just say I'm a newbie, I'm a this, I'm a that. You understand? So normally I used to say that I'm a newbie so that I will just like get you first because sometimes I've been in that class that you say I'm a newbie. I will just share my full knowledge. After all that, you said I don't have anything. I'm a newbie. This kind of thing. You understand? So that is like really, really bad. Sometimes I'll just come to that way. Just come to like William Jem. Hey, I'm a newbie. I'm having some issue with this and this. Can you help me out? William will gladly help me out. No, no, that I know things. You understand? So I'll tell you for that.
Okay, okay, that's amazing, Mazi. Thank you very much. Can you? I believe you can hear me. Ruti, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, okay, Mazi. Thank you very much for that contribution. Diamond, I see your hands up. Thank you for your contribution as well. Okay, so right about now we're gonna go straight to what we have for today. Our speaker is here. Our guest is here. I want to say shout out to every one of you that has actually been up on this space. Um, um, that has been up on this page. Shout out to you all. Thank you very much for joining in on today's episode of Web3 Motivation. This is our episode 4. And you know, I'll do it. Our topic for today is how to start and grow your network and net worth in the Web3 space. You know how we do it here. It's always fun. It's always educating. It's always entertaining. We learn, we talk, and we grow with each other. Um, the network has really been acting really really strange with me today. I really don't know, but I am just believing God that the network is going to go smooth all through the space. So thank you very much guys once again. So we have our speaker with us, JRE Entertain. He's actually an amazing person. He's actually he's really an amazing person. Actually, he's really an amazing person. You know, we don't just want to waste more time. I don't just want to waste more time here. So I would do the honor of inviting him up to the speaker panel. He's already on the speaker panel. I will do the honor of inviting him to actually share what he has with us for today on how to start and grow your network and network in the Web3 space. So, sir, over to you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, okay, good. William, is it William?
Yeah, yeah, William.
Man, thank you for the invite. I know when you had originally inboxed me, man, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know who this guy is. Let me take a look and seen some of your content and your previous spaces. So I definitely appreciate you reaching out. Um, and you know, and again, and it's a good intro into how to really start your and grow your network. I think the net worth is the network, right? If I may. If you really think about that, the type of individuals or people that you have in your circle, um, each one of us has a value that we can bring to the table, whether it's business, your creativity, financial, right? Honesty, loyalty, right? Which is really hard to find nowadays. Someone who's going to be committed to helping you or each other build in this space. Um, and I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Joseph Robinson. I again want to thank you, William, for allowing me to come out. I've been in networking in business for the last about 20 something years. Just learning. I am a what do you want to call that? I'm a stickler for learning. I want to learn as much as possible, so that way I can give the right amount of information back out, regurgitate it, and put it right back out there in the space. But one thing that I've learned along my journey is that honesty, loyalty, being upfront about business deals, being upfront and being really who you are to let people know, hey, this is the kind of person that I am. Those are, I think, those are critical in terms of who you are, what you're going to become, and learning how to adapt to your environment. I spent almost 16 years in the military, and one of the things I learned was team building, right? When you're, we had a couple deployments going overseas, um, but throughout those whole time, those times, you really learn how to stick together as a unit. That's why they call them units. You really learn how to stick together as a unit, right? As a team. And if you can't depend on the person to your left, the person to your right, the person in your front, the person in your rear, in your six, who can you depend on? And I've seen time and time again where in this space you have individuals like we are here in this group. We're here to learn. We're here to network. We're here to build the network, grow it, and your network. If you have someone in your space, in your atmosphere, in your sphere of influence, who is not like-minded, who may not necessarily have the same vision as you do, as you are building collectively, uh, who doesn't want to bring anything that's worthwhile having to the table, and that's all about themselves, that will never work. You will always, like sandpaper, right? You can take sandpaper and you can pretty much smoothen a surface, right? Think of somebody who takes a piece of sandpaper and puts that against your skin to try to smooth out your skin. First off, you're going to bleed, right? Second off, that is not how you smoothen out your skin, right? And third, again, that's not the right approach. And the reason why I use that analogy is because a lot of times we will invite people into our network who is like the sandpaper. They will not help us to smoothen our journey, our network, to make things a little bit more seamless, right? They will actually cause your network to be, I guess, to, let's say, to bleed, right? Let's say you invite them in to help you with, let's say, maybe some Web3 applications and build something, and you're building a product, you're building an asset, for people to participate in and to grow. Well, they told you one thing about their technical knowledge and what they can do. They came in and did something totally different. You've communicated the fact of, hey, I'm hiring you, or I've brought you into my network to help me build my network, but yet you're doing something, you're flowing different than what I anticipated. So you also have to be able to cut people off. If you don't, your network, I believe your network will be at a standstill and it will not grow. I think since I've been here in Twitter before, even before the Twitter spaces or X spaces, I was doing my best to build. And one of the ways that I love to do that is through philanthropy work, right? Give back, single mothers, fathers, military veterans, any of those, anyone. Um, but there's a focus that I have in building, and that's one of the ways I like to build my network. Is come alongside of someone who has like mindedness, and I'm not going to say that we can all get together, we can all get along, but we can't, and it's been proven that we cannot all get along. So have to you have to really be, um, I guess I want to say, kind of picky on who you allow to come in to your space. And again, William, thank you for allowing me to come in, because I think that by you saying, "Hey, Dre, will you come and share some information with the group here on how to do this, or your perspective?" I think that you really thought highly of me enough to do that. So I respect you for that. So his mindset of, I want to show people a better way or a different way and perspective on how to build a network of people to help build your net worth down the way. If you have 100 people who can help you build your network, as well as your net worth. They have something to offer that may be tangible that you can hold in your hands, and it may not be. Right, it may not be tangible. It may be, let's say, for instance, like the blockchain, right? Web3 is decentralized, right? It's permissionless. It has native payments, meaning the in terms of cryptocurrency for spending and sending money online instead of relying upon the infrastructure of banks and payment processors and all of that. It's trustless, meaning that it operates using incentives, mechanisms instead of relying upon third parties. So you invite those individuals into your space who can offer something that will help you grow. And let's look at businesses that have grown their true network. Let's say, for instance, like with Wells Fargo, the bank, right? We know that they started out in the, what is it, 1900s era, right? building building banks and giving people loans of products and services, and here's a cow, and I'll give you two cows and you give me two horses back, right? Or whatever the case, whatever the exchange was. That was the original stock exchange. Goats and sheeps and lambs and pigs and whatever the case. That's how you trade it. But you think from that part back in the day up until now, the Wells Fargo has now expanded, and they've built their network and their net worth, right? So they have networks of banks and services, loans, CDs, mutual funds, stocks, property, and I think at some point they may be even diving into cryptocurrency, the Web3 aspect of things. But they have built their network, and on top of that, with them adding those kind of products, right? And I'm not a Wells Fargo fan, but um, they do give out good loans, right? It depends, high interest rates, all that. But those are the products that they've added unto their net work in order to expand their net worth. So you have to think of it as what we're doing here in the Web3 tech and technology, and where we are growing as a group of people learning how to work together. And I was talking about this earlier before I came here, was that these cryptocurrencies, these tokens, these fly by night, these meme coins that are coming out. Do you know what that's doing? That a lot of times they're taking from the network, the people, us people who come in, they create these meme tokens, and you know what, they're 90% of them are scams. 99, I would say 90, I would go even far as saying 98%. They don't make it, right? But what do they do to us that it's in the Web3, that those who are let's say people who are brand new, they don't know anything about cryptocurrency. So all of a sudden, let's say for instance, and Pepe didn't do this, but Pepe comes along and somebody says, "Hey, I think you should buy Pepe." Well, somebody allowed them to come into a space and speak about Pepe. Now, 30% may say, "Okay, I'll join in." 10% or 20% may say, "I'll think about it," and the others may say, "No, we're not going to do it." Well, that person who came into the space to shill it, what did they just do? They just built a 30% of their network in going into Pepe, and now that 30% could translate into 100,000, 200,000, $300,000 into the net worth of that asset. And so now they've just scaled above where they were before, that prior to them coming into the space. And guess what? This happens over and over and over again. Pepe's still around, but just as an example, if it wasn't, now these individuals, this network of people, go around to different spaces preaching, "Hey, this is the next Shiba Inu. This is the next whatever. This is the next product in Web3 that's going to go to the moon." And they give you examples of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, the ecosystems, right? So they do that to build their network all the whole time, What they're really wanting to do is build the net worth and run off of people's money. So there's a right way to do things and there's the wrong way to do things. And I'm glad, William, that you invited me in here because I'm listening. I was listening to you earlier, um, and the individual that was speaking before on how to build, how to scale above. And I think one of those ways that you do that is your integrity, right? Integrity is important. I think is not just in Web3, but in business. Period. You have to have a solid foundation. You have to have individuals who are going to be honest and upfront and integral in their processes. Let's say in business, you have your organizations. You got the CEO, you got the financier person, you have your marketing team, you have those who are maybe cleaning. You have a whole team of individuals. Well, those individuals are all part of your network in business as you're coming together, as you're growing. But guess what? They're part of your network too. Why? Because you have to pay them. You got to pay these individuals every single day that they come to work, and they're either adding to your net worth or they're taking away from it. So you want to have scalable individuals, people that are going to move alongside with you as you grow your business, as you grow your network and you expand out. Let's say you hire a marketing person who only has a year of experience, and you were looking for someone who has 10 years, but you said, you know what? I'll allow you to come in. Boom, they come in. They're learning the ways of your business. And let's say, particularly Web3, they're creating products. They're helping you create products, but they're going out to talk to other businesses to implement your Web3 services into their business. Well, let's say a year from that day you hired that individual, that person did not work well. Why? Because they didn't meet the qualification of the 10 years that you wanted, but you wanted to give them a chance. Guess what that just did to your network? So your network at some point did not remain scalable, right? Because they were not successful in adding to it. And also now your net worth has changed. Why? Because you've just paid this person for a whole year and they did not bring in any business. They didn't scale up as you needed them to, and they didn't grow your network. On top of that, which could have added to a couple few million, $100,000, whatever the case, to your business. So it was a little difficult for you to scale above. That's why, again, I think it's important that when you're building your network, you have to what do you call that? Not monitor, but when you, let's say you're looking at a resume of someone, what do? You go through and you want to make sure that the resume fits the qualifiers, the qualification for that individual. So you have to do the same thing. Look at it's business. You have to do the same thing when people are coming into your network in order for you to expand and know the horizons in order for you to grow. I think that's important in Web3 as well.
Wow, 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 wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, am I still logging, or you guys can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. That's really amazing. Wow, 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 man. There's something you say that really actually got my attention, that really struck me. You talked about integrity. You see, if I just want to share more light on that as well, let me make some contribution in regards to integrity. You see, one funny thing I tell people is this. Now, if you don't have integrity in Web 2, hardly you tend to have integrity in Web 3. Because I tell people that the Web 2 world is actually transiting to Web 3. If you're coming to Web 3, you are only transferring what you have, who you are in Web 2 down to Web 3. So having integrity in Web 2 goes a long way in having it in Web 3 as well. Integrity is something that everybody in this space need to put up. In growing in this space, in growing your network, in growing your net worth, you need to have integrity. Integrity is a key factor. I tell people, integrity is a key factor to success. It's going to open doors for you. It's going to make ways for you. It's going to give you opportunities that you never expect. Okay, so whatever we do, wherever we find ourselves, whenever we are building our network, whenever we are striving to build our net worth, we should also focus on building our integrity and maintaining our integrity. Okay, JRE, thank you very much for those amazing words. Thank you very much for those amazing words, man. Those are insights, key insights. Ruti is supposed to be my co-host, but I think because of network glitches I am having, I cannot be able to send out a co-host invite. Ruti, I don't know if you have one or two things to add in regards to what JRE said. We're also going to go to the question section and also contributions where the audience, if you want to make contribution, you want to ask questions, you can just unmute yourself and you can just make put your hands up or you request for the mic. Okay, Ruti, over to you if you have a contribution or question to ask. Hello, Ruti. Can you hear me? I guess Ruti cannot hear me. Okay, I see General hand is up. So, General, you can unmute yourself and go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, General.
Yeah, my question is, who are the team behind the project and what past experience do they have? Thank you.
Sorry, General. We are actually not talking about any project. Okay, if you can read on the heading there, what you see is Web3 motivation: how to start and grow your network and your network. That's actually the topic we are discussing. It's actually an open mic, so we are discussing. We are actually not talking about any project. JRE as well. I don't think he's talking about any project. So we are actually not talking about any project. Okay, General. Thank you very much for that. So if you have any question, I can see some requests here. I can see Found Hero. I can see Otherwise, Blessed, and Octavi. I am approving your request. If you have any question, please just put your hands up so we can go ahead. Ruti, if you're there, please, you can go ahead. Hello, Ruti. Oh, I guess she isn't there. I guess she isn't there. Okay, so Octavie, I see you on the speaker panel. You can unmute yourself and go ahead, please.
Hello, good evening, GM, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you very much, Will. I am. Thank you so much. Thank you, JRE, for the session you just had. I just want to like throw a contribution, kind of, and I just want to like get it clear that I understand the part where he talked about value and alongside what you're bringing to the table, kind of. So I picked honesty and loyalty. These are keywords that actually kind of I have experienced myself. And coming to Web3, it's been I came in like a novice. I don't know anything. I was just having fun, you know. So when I came in, I actually like noticed that I don't know anything. So practically whoever I'm bumping into will definitely like, what is this boy doing? He doesn't even know what he's doing. So the first person that gave me a job on Web3 kind of saw that, and being a nice person as well, he didn't capitalize on that. He didn't take advantage of me being or a novice. I don't know anything. And from there I realized that waking up in the morning, I get like see some messages. I like, can you do this? You want to? Can you work for me? Can you do this community manager? I was like, how are these? Imagine somebody that is just coming in. I don't know anything about Web3. I don't even know how you get a job. I don't know how you get paid, and it was just a whole different uh, experience entirely. So when you have a value, when you have something to offer, when you are yourself predominantly, I believe the good people out there, the right person, you actually need that one person, not necessarily so many people. You just need that one person, like a mediator, as you know, because somebody said earlier. And yeah, it's been an awesome journey, and I really want to like appreciate everybody, Ruthie, Will.i.am, and Jerry. Thank you so much for the words. And if every one of us here put things together as he has said, or just watch yourself, give yourself a value, be something that somebody will look up to and like, okay, not everybody will come to you, but there must be somebody that will definitely say that thing in you. It's a whole lot of community out here. A lot of people are watching. So when you put it to practice, definitely it will work for you. Thank you, Ruthie. By Ruth is the reason I'm always like here. So whenever she's like having a co-host kind of stuff, I have her notification on. So definitely I will like bump in, and I believe I will get to know more about Will I Am and the rest members of this space. Thank you so much, and thank you very much for having me.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing, man. We're really glad to have you here as well with us, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, you talked about honesty. It is really great. Value is really great, man. So if you are actually in the Web3 space, you need to be value based. You need to keep giving value. You need to keep giving value. Value is really, really important in the space. JRE, I just want to ask this one question. I can see Bobby BNB is on the speaker panel. I can see okay, some other requests are coming in. But before we go to those requests, and Bobby, before you actually speak, I just want to ask GRE one of those questions. GRE, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, 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 yes. I got you. Sorry, boss. Yeah, I got you, man. Go ahead, William.
Oh, okay. It's all right. Okay, so I want to actually ask this question. How did you actually came into the Web3 space? You know, like how did you actually came to the Web3 space, and how did you navigate in building your network? I just want to ask you based on a personal level. Let's learn from your personal experience on this.
What was the last part of that question?
Okay, so I actually asked, how did you actually get to come into the Web3 space? You know, the whole crypto stuff. How did you get to start it up, and how did you actually get to build your network in the space? Like, I'm asking based on a personal experience. Like, you can just share your personal experience on us on how you did this, how you built your network, and how you came into the Web3 space, and how you navigated it seamlessly.
Gotcha. So I'll answer the first part. Um, how I got here, right? So it was really by accident because the only thing I knew was investing. Didn't know anything about decentralization. Didn't know anything that about the Web 1, Web 2, Web. Where we were at or where we are at now. Didn't know anything about DAOs or identity or blockchain technology. Um, so my journey really started in 2017, which is when I bought my first Bitcoin. So I think that would have been the first part of my journey. Um, I actually bought I think I bought about 4 Bitcoin, and I'm not sure what the price of Bitcoin was around that time period. It wasn't. Let me actually double check so I could make sure I'm giving you the right amount here. So 2017, maybe about 2016. So right around, I'd say between 2016 2017. So I think I roughly paid about $800 per Bitcoin right around that time period. So and again, I didn't know anything. All I knew was buy Bitcoin, right? Someone just said, "Hey, buy some Bitcoin. It'll be worth this much in the future, and if you hold on to it, you could become a millionaire." Blah blah blah. And I had actually heard this before, prior to that, in 2010. Someone told me about Bitcoin, and I was currently in Kuwait on an assignment, and some guys had told me about Bitcoin, and the first thing I thought about was scam, right? I thought scam. I don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. And they told me like 100 steps I had to do in order to do it. I'm like, look, if it's not simple, if I can't just hand you cash for this Bitcoin or whatever you want to call it, bro, I don't want it, right? So that was in 2010. I turned it down. I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. So again, the opportunity presented itself 2016, 2017 time period, wherever I paid $800. So it bought me 4 Bitcoin. And I'm not sure how I don't know if I went through, who did I go through? Anyway, bought 4 Bitcoin. And I think I posted it on the internet that, hey, I finally bought me some Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it's going to be worth in the future, but somebody told me it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm going to hold on to it. Well, after I posted, I think it was on Facebook, I got a message from this person. Dude had a suit on, had a fade haircut. He looked sharp. And he said, "Hey, I can help you with your Bitcoin." And he goes on and gives me this whole spiel about what he could help me do with my Bitcoin. That he could take my Bitcoin, my $3,200 worth of Bitcoin, and turn it into 32,000, 30,000, 40,000. I don't know. He gave me this large number. He says, I can do this over and over and over again. And I'm like, that caught my attention because I had just jumped into it, didn't know anything about the blockchain, nothing, no knowledge at all outside of this is how you buy it and that's it. So anyway, had the Bitcoin. I think it may have been Coinbase, but anyway, I'll have to go back and take a look at that. Anyway, so he gives me the instructions on what to do. A wallet. He says, "Listen, you're going to have to send your Bitcoin from your account to this wallet, and once you send it to this wallet, I can then take control and have and invest your Bitcoin. And then what I'll do is once I make the money, I'll put the money back into your account. Blah blah blah. This and that." And I was excited. I'm like, wow, what's a wallet? I can store and all that. Okay. So as I'm going along, I'm learning about these things, self custody and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. So opened up I think it was a BRB wallet or something like that. Downloaded to the phone, set it up, got my Bitcoin, and I sent 4 Bitcoin to this guy. Right. Boom. And I mean, I've told this story before, but and it took a while. I'm like, okay, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Then boom, he finally gets it, and he says, I got the Bitcoin, and what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to invest it and make some money for you. And then he says, do you also have any other people that you want to get involved to invest their money? I said, well, I don't want to get anybody else involved. I got a lot of military buddies, a lot of other associates in business that have a lot of money that could possibly benefit from this, but I want to do it first. Let me see. So again, he already has the Bitcoin, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make some big money. I'm sitting back, and I'm not doing any additional research. Right? I didn't do any, all I did was look on this guy's timeline, and he said he was uh, uh, involved in blockchain technology. He could do this, he could do that. He worked for Forex and this and that, and that was speaking my language because I've been in the Forex market for a minute. OTC market, penny stock. That's where I came from. Web3 stuff, self custody, decentralization. Nothing about it outside of my first purchase with Bitcoin. So anyway, he has the Bitcoin, and I'm sweating. I'm like, this guy has 3,200 bucks of mine, and he better come through. So several hours go by, and I go back in to check. And I message him, and he says, "Hey, we're working on it." So he takes a video, right? He takes a video, and it had my name on the screen, and then it showed an amount, and that amount was like $160,000, somewhere approximately right around there. And I said, "Okay." Text him, message him back. "Hey, can you send me, give me 90% of that, and you can keep the rest. I'll take, that 150,000, whatever the case. Let me get that, and you can keep the rest." He says, "Well," excuse me, sorry about that. He says, "Well, it's going to cost a lot in order to send it back to you." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, I sent you, it didn't, well, it cost me a little bit, but it didn't cost that much to send you 4 Bitcoin. He says, "Well, now I've turned your 4 Bitcoin into what, 20 Bitcoin? Well, I don't know. Somebody can do the math. Anyway, a lot, right? It was a bunch." And I said, "Okay, well, look, send me my money, right? You can keep the rest. I don't care how much it costs. So if I'm getting 90%, you're keeping that 10%, send me back 140. I'll take that, right? And the rest will take care of the fees, and you can keep the rest." Well, so it's gonna take a while for you to get it back. And what I'll have to do is give me about 24 hours and I'll see what I can do. You'll see what you can do? Oh, okay. Okay, I'll give you some time. So I had this funny feeling in my stomach, like I don't think I'm about to get my money back. I released this Bitcoin to this guy. There's no way for me to be able to pull it back. And I'm thinking there has to be a way. Like, can I hit the reversal button? Can I the transactions already done? Can I go who can I go to get my money back? And this is all going on in my mind, but I'm trying to finesse him because he has control. So I remember the question he asked me about, if I had other people to get involved. I said, look, I got some other folks that I can get involved, some other military partners or guys, whatever, who can bring a lot of money to the table. Once you send me my money back, I can prove to them that I made this amount of money. So help me, help you, help me, help you. And he's like, yeah, that does sound good. He said, how much do you think you can bring to the table? I said, well, let me see. In my network, pretty much, I said I could probably bring about a couple $100,000. That's gonna help you. Oh, he said, okay. So I said, is it the same process? He said, yeah. You have them buy the Bitcoin, Coinbase, whatever the case. Then they download the BRB wallet. Then they, send it from the exchange to the wallet. And then boom, they'll send it to me. I said, okay, just send me back my money and then we'll go from there. He said, well, you got to wait 24 hours anyway. So I waited 24 hours, came back, text the guy, no answer. Text the guy again, no answer. Text him again. This was in probably within a couple hours after that 24-hour period. He finally answers me back and he says, hey, bud, he said, I'm not going to continue on with this any longer. You've been scammed. I said, what? Oh, no. I said, no. Okay. So while I'm talking to him, we're going back and forth. I want my money back now. I went to the ICP, the Internet Crimes Division, FBI. I started filling out the form. I'm blasting this dude on Facebook. I said, blah, 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 going back and forth. And listen, William, I'm going to say it like this. Look, I wish I would have educated myself a little bit more back then, because of course now you know what that for Bitcoin would have been. But here's the thing. That's why I tell people you want to make sure that you educate yourself. Even now with Web3 motivation, you want to make sure that you are educating yourself in what is Web3, what is decentralization, what is ownership of your digital assets, what is what is identity, what is accessibility to to having accessibility to your ledger or to the blockchain. What what I'm saying? Don't just be sending anyone something blindly without understanding that the risk involved in that you're not going to be able to get that back. So in terms of the second part of your question, in me building my network, after that, I see 17, 18, 19, 20. So I kind of disappeared from investing in anything outside of Bitcoin or block or whatever. Didn't really still did not know as much, but I kind of took some time to learn a little bit more, and then I jumped back again in 2020, and that's when I jumped into Dogecoin. It was Dogecoin, Shib, or Dogecoin, Hoj, Shib, and then SafeMoon, and then everything else kind of just came from there. Learning how to establish a wallet, all this and all that, and what decentralization was. What is self custody, all of this. I started educating myself, and then of course I got on the Twitter, and then I started building my network, reaching out to people. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? What does this look like? Going into groups. Of course, Spaces didn't come out for, I think, what was it, a couple 2 years ago now, or I think we've been in Spaces for since 21. You can start speaking or whatever. So anyway, I just started building from there, hopping into Spaces, talking to people, learning, the Web3 infrastructure, what these new phrases were, what's ownership, what, Web 1 for read only, then Web 2 was, read and write, and then Web 3 is read, write, and own, which is what we have now, self custody and ownership and all of that. So again, just to kind of bring it back around, it is important that you learn the technology behind what you're investing with, right? What you're investing in, right? You think about what Facebook is doing now, and they've established this a while ago. You can now have a single not membership but censorship login to all of your assets or all of your socials, right? You can use Google to log into Facebook, or Facebook to log into to Google, or Google to log in with the Ethereum, or Ethereum to log in, or you can sign in with Twitter. All these these centralized, or some are decentralized as well, infrastructure that allows you to communicate on Web3. But that's the centralized part of it. The decentralized part of it is the self custody, allowing me to have full control over my assets, over my network, over who I deal with, who I socialize with, logging into sites, or Uniswap and all these things. Being able, so this is important to understand where Web3 is going, and the limitations for the user, and the education that you're going to need to get. So I think for me, I've grown a lot since 2017, and even now. But I've also humbled myself enough to say, hey, I've taken losses, I've had gains, I've learned this and I've learned that, and now I want to either impart, or I want to sit on the sideline and learn what this means, and learn what the true meaning behind Web3 is, and how do you build. So I think part of that has allowed me to build, my network along the way, learning from people, um, uh, uh, um, adjusting to the change on how you do things in decentralization, as well as humbling and saying, "Hey, I don't know this, but let me learn it, and let's work together." Right? Because the way I grew up I didn't want to work with anybody else. Like, I wanted to do everything by myself. My dad taught me how to be a strong man. My grandfather taught me how to be a strong man. The women in my life taught me how to be a strong man. So I was like, I don't need anybody else. I can do this myself. And if I do need somebody else, I will pay them to do the job. But other than that, I'm gonna build this myself. But guess what? You need other people. You need a network, right? Again, we talked about this earlier. The more value that someone else can add to your life, especially since we're talking about Web3, in that aspect of decentralization, centralization, whatever the case, however you want to do that, you need that ownership. You need those. You don't need the limitations in terms of how far you can grow. You need individuals that's going to bring a set of skills to your network to help you all grow. And guess what? That value that they're bringing to the table will ultimately help you to build your network. It's not necessarily about the amount of money that you have in your pocket, because if you don't know what to do with it, right, you might as well just be broke. Okay, if you don't have the right person on your team to help you build your business, you might as well go out of business, because this Lone Ranger stuff, it does not work for long. And I understand people want to have their own platforms, they want to do their own things, but guess what? If you're trying to build that education, if you're trying to help people understand centralized infrastructure, if you're trying to help people understand, limitations, identity, DAOs, all of this stuff that's in Web3, understanding, teaching people about Web3 3.0, which is again the read, the write, the ownership, the decentralization, which where we're trying to stay. But of course, the government comes in and says, "Hey, we want a piece of your decentralization, so we're going to tax it." Right? Anyway, so that those are some of the things that I've learned along the way. It was a struggle. I had to struggle, and that was only a percentage of it. But I had to struggle. There was a process I had to struggle, and then follow my face, get back up, and said, "Okay, well, this is where I started. This is where I fell. This is now where I get back up." And I've tripped and I've fallen numerous amount of times. But guess what? If you have a strong network, people are going to come alongside you and help pick you up. They have a core of ideas to help you get back on your feet. You can share what you need to share with them to help build, but it is that teamwork those team building, those units, as I explained to you about my military experience, those units that help build the bridge alongside and help you move forward and progress as a whole team. And you guys can do things a lot better versus just being by yourself. So, yes, those are some of the things why I believe that having your strong network will ultimately add to a stronger net worth. And it's not just financial, it is stability, it is infrastructure, it is the ideas that's inside the education that's driven on the Web3 platforms, and learning how to bridge that into the next level to help grow the technology, such as Ethereum has, the whole blockchain, understanding, transaction fees, how to lower those things, how to bridge over to another network like Base, and all these things. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different platforms coming about. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we are really going to see the power of decentralization as well as centralized finance. So get ready, buckle in. But yes, you definitely need to strengthen your network.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's amazing, man. That's really, really, really amazing. That's amazing, man. But I told you guys, I told everyone on the space that how we do it on Web3 motivation. It is always interesting. You get to learn, you get to connect. It is always interesting, man. Wow, wow, wow. Come on, guys. I want to see those love emojis out because right now we are learning a lot. Put up those love emojis. Let's show Jerry some love. Put up those love emojis. Put up those clap emojis because I'm telling you guys what he's just teaching us right here is worth $1 million. Put up those love emojis, put up those clap emojis, man. It is really, really, really awesome, man. and, and I'm really, really sorry for your loss of 4 BTC then, man, because right now 4 BTC would have been a whole lot, like a whole lot of money. Woo, man, that's really crazy. But one thing
Now,
I keep saying, just like
I'm not saying I would have held on this long, but now I, when it first hit that 19,000, I probably would have said, "Oop, I'm out."
Woo!
Yeah, I'm gone. But you live and you learn.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's just one of those learning experience. It's one of those phases, those growing phases. You see, that's why education is really, really important. Education is absolutely important. Education. I'm actually also building something. You can check it out. You guys can all check it out. Crypto IQ. It's actually what I'm actually building. It's a space too as well where it's going to be based on crypto education. I'm still working towards it, but it's still on its very early stage, anyways. Education is really important. So, in this space, wherever you are, please put education first. Learn, keep learning, keep learning. Learning doesn't end in this Web3 space, okay, guys? So, we have to put up learning at all times. Okay, guys, once again, before we go further, remember we are giving out, sponsored by JRE Entertain, is giving out $50 to 10% on the space, man. Is giving out $50 to 10%. In other words, $500 worth of Solana is gonna go to 10%, guys. Come on, shop some love emojis. That's really awesome, man. That's really, really awesome. One thing I love so much about Jerry is the fact that he loves giving out to people. He loves building people. He loves showing. Man, I'm telling you, he's really awesome. He's really, really awesome. He's really awesome.
So,
Okay.
William, I know you had asked me
Yeah.
a question in reference how to do that. So
Yeah.
what I propose, and you can do it any way you would like to do it. I propose that I will send you the $500 worth of Solana, whoever wants to deal with that, and then you can pick them on Twitter Picker or however you want to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the 500 worth of soul to an address that you choose, as well as I'm going to bless you in your space. I'm going to send you an additional 500 for yourself, for allowing me to be here in your space and just being a blessing to you as well. And of course, there's nothing being held over your head for that. That's just how I want to bless you, and of course, bless your listeners as well. So I will be sending that a total of $1,000 in soul to your direction, and you can use at your discretion down the road.
Oh, 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 wow, 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 man. Come on, guys, put up some love emojis. I want to see those love emojis coming up, man. This is really awesome. I told you guys, JRE is is somebody that is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely beautiful. He's someone that I have been following up for a lot of time, for a couple of years right now. I've been following him with my account before X blocked my account, and I always follow him. He's really awesome. He's really awesome. You're gonna learn a lot from him. You're gonna learn a whole lot from him. Okay, sir. So immediately after the space, I would reach out to you in DM, and I'll send you the address. I would have actually done that now, but I am having some network glitches, so I don't want to just leave up the space so I don't get any network obstruction. So immediately after the space, I'll send you the address, my address, so you can actually do that. And how do we write down children on web motivation? Screenshot is actually being taken for the people on the space. So definitely we're going to use Twitter picker, and immediately after the space we're going to post the winners, and we'll definitely post the Twitter picker link as well, so you can check and verify to ensure everything is done transparently and fairly, man. Thank you very much, JR Entertainment. Thank you very much
And
for
see,
that. I really, really
no
appreciate.
problem, William. And see, and that's that's what we're talking about here. Network, right? So, I don't think I've ever spoken with you, William, at any time. Maybe in passing, hello, in terms of online or what have you. But just your response from that, I'm listening to you, and I said, you know what? This is a brother who appears to be an honest individual, who is going to do the right thing by that, and that's someone who I see as an example in this space that you would definitely want part of your network. Why? Because he's adding that kind of honesty, integrity, value to the space. And so again, that's how we build. We different you have let's give an analogy of a pie, right? A pecan pie, which is my favorite. So you have a pecan pie, and it has all its different elements. It has the pecans, it has the crust, it has that gooey center. The what do you call that? I forgot how what do you call that stuff that's in there? Not maple, but it's the gooey center, right? Um, and it has all the sugar, it has the sugars, and it has all you might even put some whipped cream on it, but it has all of the elements, which to my opinion makes a perfect pie. But guess what? In order to put that together, somebody had to get the different ingredients: the eggs, the milk, the vanilla, the nuts, the crust to form it. This is all part of the network. Now the net worth part of it is when I when I bite into that pie, the goodness of it, the reward of that pie, that is my net worth. Why? Because I'm building myself up inside with this pie. I'm about to tear this pie up. So I mean, it may be far fetched, but I'm saying to you is when you have someone that is good, that's positive, that has knowledge, that has a skill base, that can help to grow you, and it is something you guys come together, you can form a team, that unity, right? That unity, that teamwork, they're worth keeping, and they are valuable to your institution, your platform, your network. Web3, these are valuable people with insight, with knowledge that you want to hold on to. So don't despise small beginnings in any area. If you see somebody that has that kind of knowledge, that kind of that skill base, that set that can help propel you as an individual, you all work together. So once again, I appreciate you and the knowledge that you are constantly bringing to this space.
Man, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate those kind words, man. Really appreciate those kind words. It's really awesome. It's really awesome. Okay, Mazi, I see your hands up. Okay, Mazi, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, Mazi.
Yeah. Um, sorry. Yeah, JRE, you really said a lot. I was just like lying down on the floor. So everything you said, I noted everything. You really said a lot about this networking and know you who you're working with, the loyalty, trust, and all that. You really said a lot. Yeah, I feel it, bro. I feel it, bro. Yeah. So a friend of mine always said if you want to make money, network with billionaires. Like right now, I really like to network with each and every one of you yes. So I just give you a follow, JRE. So I really love to network with you. Like network with even most times the strangers is ever like I network with everybody. So I really love to network with you. But like you said a lot. I don't even know what to say right now. So thank you, Williams. This space is really amazing. Like before when I came, I was just coming for just like the $5 you said, the 50 people per wallet and right now this space is really encouraging. I will not miss this space. I will never miss this space. So yeah, thank you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much for those kind words. We keep doing it hard on Chill and on our Web3 motivation. It is always interesting here on Web3 motivation. We always bring hot speakers that's going to teach you a lot, that's going to connect you a lot. So meanwhile, if you haven't given JRA Entertain a follow, do well to give JRA a follow. If you haven't given me a follow, do well to give me a follow. Give Ruti a follow. Give everyone on the speaker panel a follow. Do well to connect with each other. I am trying to approve. Dixon, I see your request. Your request. I'm trying to um approve the request, but I think my network is really giving me glitches. I see your request, Joel. Okay, I see some 65 Sam me hand is up. You can go ahead and mute yourself. If you have a question to ask Jerry in regards to the topic, you can ask. If you want to make contributions, you can also make contributions. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Good day, everyone.
Hello,
I hope
hello.
you can hear me.
Yes, sir. We got you.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Hello.
yes, sure, you got you.
Yeah. First of all, I want to really appreciate GRE. I've been following you for a while too here. With all my accounts, the X keep blocking them, and this is my backup account. I'm still following him here too. I've been following his space once, doing his grandma's motivational talk. It was really interesting, and I heard too much from him and what he does here in this space. And his philanthropic kind heart is always awesome. I really appreciate you, sir. And I thank God for using you to bless so many people. Now, I just have some few questions I would like to ask quickly. And the first one is somebody which is maybe into this space for not too long. Maybe you have not known anything about Web 1 or Web 2, and then you come to hear about Web 3. And is there a way you can manipulate it, as in not about the knowledge, you don't know about the knowledge of Web 1, you don't know about the knowledge of Web 2, and then you're starting from Web 3? So, is it possible that one can quickly gain access to these webs without following it step by step? That's actually one of the questions. Then the second question also I want to ask, so I would like to throw it all together so that if there's a response, it can come together so that I can allow other people to talk too. Now, the second question I want to ask is if actually you are maybe on a tight schedule on your physical uh, real life, actually your real life schedules, and is somehow choke or tight, and then you want to go into this space too, is there a possibility for you to combine both? Or you actually, just like Jay said, GRE said he was in military and then after a while then he left. So is there a possibility for you to combine your daily activities, which is a tight schedule? Maybe sometimes you need to meet family needs and all that, and then coming back to understand more about space. Is there not going to be like a distraction or anything confusing while doing that? So that is two. And my last question is, what of somebody which is maybe growing up still in this and maybe there are things you need to learn and you need to maybe subscribe, you need to go into them, you need to buy, you need to google, just let's say everything that needs finance, but you are starting up and you are not maybe financially that capable. Is there a possibility for you to, now that you don't even have the knowledge about Web 1, I don't have the knowledge about Web 3, and then you come into Web 3 and you are trying to meet up? Is there a possibility to meet up if you don't have that financial capability? So that is my three question now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for those questions. So I will leave it for JRE to respond to your questions first.
All right. So, and thank you for those questions. Three questions there. I think one in three were somewhat sound like we're somewhat similar in terms of coming into Web 3. And remember, read, write, read stage, read only, write stage, now read, write, and own. Decentralization. Look at it, from that perspective in terms of where we are in Web3 and what we can do. As I talked about with decentralization, in the simplest form of being able to take ownership of your your net worth. Let's look at it from that perspective. Take ownership of your net worth in terms of your socials, of in terms of your money, you becoming the bank, the decentralized part of it. But overall, both sides benefit from decentralization as well as centralized finance. So both sides benefit from that. Even you look at with and I'll get back focused on your question, but you look at centralized these exchanges that are centralized. Who benefits from that? Individuals who do not want to come over to the decentralized part of Web3, right? And have that kind of ownership. They would rather have the basically like the banks. Let's say example Coinbase, right? Coinbase is a centralized network, okay, which has decentralized parts to it. It's not fully decentralized, but for instance, a wallet, right? That is the decentralized part of it. That self custody, but even with that, there's still parts of it that's centralized because if you connect your wallet to Coinbase, they now have access to that. So that bridges that gap there to centralization. So you think again, Web one read, Web two write, Web three read, write, and own self custody, ledger, single sign on with one social Google. We had talked about that earlier. So one thing I think when you're coming into Web three as a whole, right? And again, I don't want to make this too far fetched where the average person cannot get it. But in terms of networking, you want to come in with a plan, right? At any time, any part of networking, you know this, that you want to plan. If I want to build business across the world, I need to have a plan for my business first before I even decide to reach out to somebody else and pitch them my idea as to how we're going to network together. If they don't understand my business, they don't understand my network, if they don't understand what I'm doing, how can we really connect if they don't understand my language? And I think when it comes to language, you think of, again, I can sign into Facebook with Google, or Google with Facebook, or Twitter using Google, right? They're speaking the Web3 language, where you can come together, read, write, and own, right? I own my part of my social network, but now I'm intertwining and I'm coming together. So one of the things is you want to make a plan, you want to write it down, right? You want to write down those values that you possess in terms of in terms of networking, right? Whether it's graphic designing, whether it's coding, whatever it is, you want to write down your plan in terms of what you can do, what you're going to be able to bring to the table. And then next, what you should do is, I think, and again, this is not set in stone. These are just my ideas and how I've approached things. You want to write out I want to say it's not SMART goal, but you want to write out a plan should be SMART, right? Um, um, so you want to write out the kind of people that you want to connect with, right? The types of individuals that you believe could add to your network, right? And there may be some confirmation bias there. You may say, you know, I'm connecting with William, but William may be, he may be good for this, but he may not be good for that. Do you invite him into your network? I mean, can you, after what William has said and what he has shown you, and it may not fit 100% of your network, but he may be able to add a percentage to it, and you never know. It may grow to the point of where he is able to contribute 100% to your network. But the whole idea of having a network is having different types of people, having different types of ideas, having different types of leagues and people who are in different areas of their life and growth, a part of that network. No one's ever going to be the same, period. I don't care if you're a twin. You still have differences. That one twin may have a mole on the back of his neck or her neck, and the other twin may have an eyeball that's bigger than the other, right? But you're still together. You're still networked together, right? You're still together. The next thing is you should choose how you network with them, right? So as an example, part of, let's say, Web3, right? You can connect with them on social media, right? Twitter, LinkedIn, Telegram, Discord, offline events. You can go to travel to their city if you have that ability. Different things. So in order to build, you have to be active. You got to get boots on ground sometimes to build it. I mean, a lot of things are socially driven. That's good. But if you don't get out and do some type of connecting, I think, 'cause remember before we even had, we could send each other messages the way we do blockchain. All you had in IG, right? Instant message, or you had AOL. Who remembers AOL? The messaging system and all of that kind of stuff. So things have definitely changed the way we were able to connect. But I remember where we didn't have a cell phone to connect. You went to the person's house and you went and knocked on their door, right? There was no email, right? You couldn't connect in that form of fashion. That just wasn't a way that we did things. You went to the business, you got into your car, you drove to the business, you drove to the house, you connected that way. You had meetings. There was no Skype and all that kind of stuff before that. I'm not dating myself. I'm just saying, like, I came into the era where all this stuff was just starting about, the Skypes and all those, instant messagings and all that kind of stuff, right? And then I think with number five with that is asking yourself, are you familiar with these individuals' processes, the way that they network, the way that they do business in Web3, what have you? And are they familiar with your processes? How do you bring that about? How do you make that happen with your plan? And then after that, we know that Web3 is mainly, from again my perspective, I think we should know that Web3 is mainly driven by communities, right? If a community is driving, you're going to thriving. You're going to know that. You're going to know. For instance, again, I keep going back to certain let's say with BTC, the BTC community, the BTC maxis. You go into a BTC space, you're bound to get into a fight, right? Over technology, over what Bitcoin is it. That is it. Nothing else. Don't talk about Pepe. Don't talk about SHIB. Don't talk about Ethereum. Don't talk about, it doesn't matter. Even if the network is, we're all thriving for the same thing, right? But Bitcoin, you step in the Bitcoin maxi space? No. Don't mention. They're gonna pull you off the platform. So again, you want to join communities that's like-minded, because you're not going to get along with everybody, right? And the learning curve is going to be different. So a part of your question was someone who doesn't know anything about Web 1, Web 2, and is just starting to learn about Web 3. Most likely you've been doing it all along. It's just now that it's combined, and now we have the decentralized part of it, which allows us to kind of dive in to that part. Another part is, if I may, is you have to, and I find myself too. I find myself doing this. I have to go away sometimes. I have to retrace. I have to retrack. I have to gather my thoughts. I got to go away. If you're networking, you don't necessarily want to do that I guess on a consistent basis. If you have to retreat, then you do that. But when I say go away, meaning I don't disappear, I don't become a ghost, but there's part of me that needs rest, right? But when you are networking, when you're grinding, you want to make sure that you are grinding foot to the pedal, right? You're trying to reach this person, you're trying to get here, you're trying to reach this status in terms of your networking capabilities. You got to grind. As an example, there's a guy by the name of Vince, and he goes by Worldwide Crypto. If you're following me, you may have seen me on his show the other day. Excuse me. Well, since since this guy's coming to the space, I have seen him with networking with more people than I've ever seen anyone else do in this space. Like he has, I mean, he's had from the little guy on up to bigger platforms on his show, right? And he's been constantly grinding. But that's what I call someone who really wants to engage. They're very active and they want to grow their network. You got to push it. You got to get out there. What if William had not messaged me and said, "Hey, look, I got a space coming up. Would you mind, coming on and talking to me?" He wouldn't have, if he didn't present that opportunity. I most likely would not have been there. I don't think I would have reached out to him. But if he hadn't reached out, then that opportunity would not have been there. In terms of us connecting, and here we are today talking about Web3 and this kind of valuable information that we can put in our toolbox and take to the next level. So that's one thing you want to do. You want to be active. You don't want to be a ghost per se, because I had to jump outside of my box at times. So that way I'm doing. I mean, I've had plenty of people inbox me and say, "Hey, look, come on the show. Let's talk about your knowledge. Let's talk about where you've come from, your gains, your losses, what you've learned in Web3. Where have you came from the dinosaur age, and here you are today. What does that look like for you?" Right? So engagement in your community, in your community pillars, right? Find those individuals who have that cornerstone in the community and network with them. If they're willing to network with you back, that's gold, right? And again, and the next thing is just be consistent. That's it. Be consistent. Be as active as you can on your social media, so that way you can connect. But my number one thing is, again, if you have a heart to listen and to learn, your network will grow, which will again flow over into your net worth. But you have to have a listen. You have to have a heart, I think, and the patience to listen to someone else and say, can I take a little bit, or even 99 or 100% of what they've said, and apply it to my life? Will it work? I'm not saying 100%, 99%. You may not even get 10% of what I'm saying today. You may get 1%, but that 1% could be 100% in your life, or even somebody else's life, in terms of the knowledge that you're receiving today. So I've always said, and I grew up in a Christian household, and my grandfather would always say to me, from the Bible, do not despise small beginnings, right? You don't want to do that, right? Regardless where you're at. If you're starting out and your network is, your network reach is 100 people, then it's 100. But remember, if your network is 100, what about theirs? Their network may be 200, 300, 400. But that's how we grow. And and I always say sharing is caring. And again, if you have the right people in your space, that's in your network, they are willing to reach out to others and tell others about you. Talk to them about you. Talk to them about what they can do, and everyone can come together. But I think there's some responsibility that comes with that, in terms of follow up, in terms of, again, integrity, being upfront and honest about what you're really here for, because we know there's a lot of scams out there. You could network with the person that you thought was the right person, but they end up being a spammer, a scammer, trying to take advantage of your network, right? So you definitely have to vet those kind of people. You really do. They're out there. Everything is not all roses and glory. You have to vet those kind of people. So not everyone can be a part of your network and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to grow. Not everybody can come with you, right? Not everyone is going to make it to the promised land, right? Or wherever you're trying to go. So as that example. But anyway, I think those 7 to 8 things that we've just talked about are some critical things in terms of networking and connecting, um and moving forward in growth, and looking for those kind of opportunities in the space. Hopefully that answered your question. Did I lose you? You guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, I'm still here too.
Okay, good. Yeah, so hopefully that answered that particular question. Though hopefully I answered all three. I tried to be specific. Um, oh, that was it. All right. Well, I think I lost them. Okay. All right. Well, they'll probably come back on. I think it was time for me to exit anyway. If y'all can hear me, please, please put a one in the chat. I'm going to take a little break and then do a giveaway, and then I think I'm done for the day. Okay, give me a second. I'll be right back. Test, test, test. 1, 2. All right, I'm back. I am back. All right, appreciate y'all hanging in there. See, okay, if you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. All right, so hopefully, let me go see. He may have started it back up again, but okay, let's go back into the space here, finish it up.
Okay, guys. Yep, I just sent JRE the space link, the new link. So let's just give it some couple of minutes. I guess they will be joining us because intentionally the space was will be ending in a couple of minutes, but unfortunately we got rock
Let me try it again.
for we call it up for a day. But I hope you guys have actually been
A
learning a
request
whole lot, a whole
speak
lot.
fail.
I
Please
hope you guys have actually
rejoin.
been learning a whole lot. Ruthie, I hope you have been learning a whole lot.
Yes, so I did though. I was about to ask a question before the space
Good
ended.
girl.
I'm not sure what is going on. He may have to. Let me try it again. Hold on.
We'll be
He has
joining the
answered.
okay. He will be joining up the speaker panel soon, I believe. Sammy, okay. So just a
Okay.
little patient, Sammy, please. You would definitely ask a question. Uh, okay, beautiful. He's back on the speaker panel. 6'5", the keyboard, Sammy, right?
Yeah, good. Sammy. My name is
Oh,
Sammy. Don't mind the
oh.
keyboard sign there.
I can tell you're a keyboardist. That's good, man. That's good. Myself personally, I play drums. So you see, we are all in the music. We are all in the Web3 music area.
Yeah,
It's really
we need to
amazing.
look. We need to look for a network, whether physical or on web.
That's amazing, man. Okay, so you were about asking the question before the stakes actually got wrong. Okay, please you can go ahead. In a couple of minutes as well, we'll be ending the space formally as well. But you can go ahead with your question because we have JRE back in the speaker section, man. And please, if you haven't given JRE a follow, please do well to give him a follow. Don't just give him a follow, put the notification on as well. Keep your notification on as well because you will definitely be learning. That's what I did as well. Notification is on his post because I am learning a lot from him. So you can also do the same, man. Okay, so you can go ahead, Sammy, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, JRE, for all this motivational talk, and it's really inspiring and it's really teaching a lot. And to tell you sincerely, I'm really, really happy about this. The last question I wanted to ask you was just about the financial aspect because you said when you lost your 4 Bitcoins and you went dark for some years. So I want to be asked too: is it possible that actually that can also be a problem or a challenge for anyone trying to study more or go into this Web3 full time or maybe part time?
Okay. So how you how you doing? Who I couldn't see who was speaking. Who was speaking?
Sammy.
Sammy.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sammy.
Sammy.
The
Sammy.
one with
Okay.
6'5", the keyboard sign, and Sammy.
Okay. Gotcha. I'll follow you back, Sammy. Okay. So just make sure I'm understanding your question. Are you asking how do you recover from a significant loss that way if you've been scammed into space, or what was
No,
the question again?
now I will just ask you about the financial aspect. You said you came in with some finance and then you lost it, then it made you to pull back before coming back. So I wanted to ask, is finance like a problem while trying to join this space? Or like is it a challenge? Is it going to be like a challenge for anyone that wants to join this space?
Okay, I think I get it. So in terms of yeah, because I mean that was a now just to go back. So the my bank actually, and that's one good thing about your banks, if they will reimburse you up to a certain amount, because they are insured. So FDIC insured up to it could be 100,000, whatever the case. And you have to go through all the steps to prove that. So that was a plus. I was able to get that money back, and that was, like I said, 3,200 bucks worth of Bitcoin. But I was able to get that back in USD into my account. And I'm glad I didn't send more, because that was my. I like to go all in. I'm a true DJ in Web3 space, but if you've been following me, you'll know that. But anyway, I'm glad I didn't take $18,000 or $20,000 or whatever to do that. And actually, that was part of my savings, because I was at the point of retiring from the army, so I didn't have a lot of money to work with from the beginning. Anyway, that was part of my savings as well. So anyway, um, I think if you're coming into Web3, you don't need a lot of money, but I think you want to make sure that you have money that is not on the risky side. Like you're willing to lose that amount. So if you got 100, 200, 300,000 bucks saved up, you want to take that $1,000 and say, let me go gamble it in Web3. Let me go gamble it here in the crypto market. Especially on these meme coins. You hear these stories about people putting, 20, 100 bucks in the SHIB or whatever, and they become, millionaire over several months or even a couple days. Now, that's few far in between, but it does happen. It is true. Like, I mean, I've been on both sides of the spectrum, so I've seen that. But um, anyone could do it, and it could happen at any time. So, and as I was saying earlier, when I made that example of Bome, and I'm not trying to highlight any project. I'm just using it as an example that, you know, Bome shot up like crazy. It was, had 3 billion, I mean, so many billions of dollars worth of volume. Where'd that money come from? Right? Like, it just took off. I mean, if you had put in, $1,000, you would have had at the 2 cent range, close to 100,000, $200,000, maybe a little bit less than that. But all I'm saying is that those kind of things happen. So when you think in terms of Web3 coming into crypto, you don't need a lot of money, but you have to have a risk threshold, right? So you're gonna definitely have to be smart about how much you're willing to bring in, how much you're willing to lose, and you don't break the bank to put into a meme coin unless you just don't care. You don't want to do that, all right? And I know this is not a crypto space per se, but just to answer your question, Web3 has so much more than just, in terms of technology. We got to think outside the box, bigger picture, store of value, and inflationary, deflationary. You got to think about all these things and where we're going. Technology with Solana and Cardano and Bitcoin and Ethereum, blockchain and Shibribrium and all these, all where we are headed in terms of the technology. So you are, if you're new, you are better off investing your time, energy, your networking, your money into assets, blue chips that are producing and building the Web3 space. That's growing closer, that's getting closer and closer to cutting edge technology, that's doing things a little bit differently, not these fly by nights. Again, if you are a degenerate, if you're a gambler, if you are somebody who says, look, I'm on my last leg, I got to try something because I can't wait around for Bitcoin to hit 1 million in order for you to make $1,000 off of Bitcoin off for $100, right? So, you really have to look at that. That's why it is important to do the additional research to understand market cap, to understand how cryptocurrency, how this all works and where the money is coming from, Bitcoin flowing down into everything else. And then once Bitcoin is starting to retrace, everything else retrace as well. But again, I think having a strong network and connection, you will see individuals who are in your network that where they may be spending their money, where they may be investing, right? And not to say 100% of those individuals are in the top 10, blue chips. Like, it's I'm in the top 10 blue chips, but I also have 90% in other areas, right? I'm spread out. I'm not singly in one asset. I have many different. And that's the thing about Web3 is that you can self custody and and take your assets and put them on the in your ledger, and you can save that for later on down the road as a rainy day. You got not your keys, not your crypto. Well, that's one thing about it. You can self custody and you'll be okay instead of having it on a centralized exchange. You know what I'm saying? So again, to answer that question, you don't have to come into Web3 with a lot of money. You just have to understand what your risk tolerance is going to be, and what you are willing to lose, and what your goals are in terms of what you want, what you would like to make, not necessarily meaning that that's what's going to happen, but you have to have your eyes set on a particular goal in mind, but then understanding the technology behind what's happening. Not just talking about what memes tokens. I'm talking about anything else that's out there, the technology that's behind these, the blue chips, and what else is coming out. There's Everything has been innovative. Everything is changing. Things are changing every single day. So you got to keep up with it. If you don't, you can end up risking your whole life savings into something that you thought was going to work out. And even in the top 20, top 10, top 100, something may be trending, and it may seem like it's good. Oh, we have this new technology utility coming out, and we've been on the market for so many years, and then they end up just pulling the project. Oh, we couldn't handle it anymore. I'm sorry, my dog got sick, or my cat's leg got ran over, and mama needs a new pair of shoes, so everybody else had to suffer. We had to run off, right? You just never know everything. I mean, in this space, it's really unpredictable because you have so many hands in Web3 that you want to trust everyone, right? But not everyone is trustable. So you can't do that. You have to keep your in terms of your circle, you want to make sure that you keep that tight knit, but you sparingly add different people in that's going to add value to the network. So no, once again, you don't have a lot of money to come to Web3, but you just have to minimize your willing to minimize or even mitigate your risk tolerance.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that, Jerry. That was actually amazing. You don't necessarily need to come to Web3 with much money, but you need at least a little money to start up, but you've got to put in what you can lose. Thank you very much for that. The space has actually been running for over 2 hours right now. So Jerry is someone that I know is actually very busy with a lot of things, and a lot of us also have things to go up with. So we're still going to take in a little few questions and maybe a few suggestions, maybe just one or two before we call it up for a day. So he can also go get some other things going on. So Diamond, I see you on the speaker panel. Diamond, you can unmute yourself quickly. Just be very brief and go straight to the point. Diamond, please go ahead, Diamond. Diamond, if you're there, please you can go ahead. Okay, I guess Diamond cannot speak. Okay, Found Hero, if you're there, you can go ahead and mute yourself, Found Hero.
GM, it's been wonderful listening to you all with the different links going up. I'm glad I'm still able to keep up. Most of the question I had has been asked by Sammy, and I was attentive to the answers. So I appreciate it.
Oh, that's amazing,
Thank
man.
you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Found Hero. Okay, I see Duke on the speaker panel. Please go ahead, Duke.
Hello, William. Good evening.
Oh, I can hear you. Good evening,
Okay.
Duke.
All right. I'll just go straight to the point. Uh, Mr. GRE, it's I've been following him for a long time, months now, and I'll say much respect. He's a legend in the space. You might not know this new account because my other account got suspended recently, so I had to create a new one. But I just want to come up, show appreciation to you. I've learned even more tonight, and it has reshaping the knowledge I think I had before. So I'll just go straight to my question. There's a thing where we all have the knowledge. Let's say assuming somebody has the knowledge of Web3 in general, you know what to do, you know all this, you know what's up, you have the few connection and network you have. But my question is majorly simple. What are the major questions you should ask, or major things you should check if you are going into a new project, or if you see a new project out there, probably they are hosting a space? What are the major questions to ask and the major things to check? That was my question. Although I still have one more thing to say, but I would love to know the answer first.
Okay. So you're asking what are those things to look out for or questions to ask before going into any project? Okay, so I think I would leave that for JRE to say something in regards to that quickly.
I don't know. Is this still part of your overall conversation here in the space, or did you?
Okay.
That's all. I mean, I can answer the question, but I just wanted to make sure it's still,
Hmm.
because if you start going off of one area, then next thing you know, you're no longer in the quote
Oh,
unquote
okay.
Exactly.
conversation. So
I don't want to deviate from the space then.
Okay, beautiful.
If I may, okay, I don't want to deviate from the space, and I don't want to put Mr. GRE on spot. So I will talk to William on some things. I'm working on a space. So if it's okay by you, sir, I'll just come and talk to you about it later. I don't want to put you on spot right now. So I'll talk to William. He will get back to you on the whole thing altogether. So not to deviate from the space.
Okay, it's all right, Luke. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So just like Jerry said, I'm sorry we didn't get to answer that question, though I actually just wanted him to maybe just say something in regards to that just quickly, but that was not part of the space for today. We I also do host other spaces, the Chill and Grind, where we actually do focus more on projects. So you can join us whenever on that space too, and you would learn more about things to look out for before going into any project. Okay, I can see Kagan the Earth on the speaker panel. So Kagan, you can go ahead with your contributions and your question. Please just go straight to the point. Thank you very much, Kagan.
GM everyone. Can you hear me, guys? GM everyone, GM everyone,
Oh,
Joe,
beautiful.
Dre, Ruthie, Diamond, GM everyone. Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear me, GM?
Yes, we can hear you, but I think you are very close to your mic, and I can hear some background noise.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Um, yeah, my question is like, I have a question for him. Like, is there any suggestions or like things somebody new in this Web3 space to do, like for a beginner, like some suggestions? That's my question.
Okay. If I get you clearly, you're asking what does a beginner needs to do to
Yes,
get into the Web3 space.
yes. Thank you. That's my
Okay.
question.
Okay, beautiful. I guess Jerry has something to say in regards to that. But before he does that, let me just say this. Like what he has been saying here, education, education
If I
first,
don't, you know,
education first. Okay, you can just come into crypto or into the Web3 space and just start navigating left, right, front, back, and all of that. You need education first. Education is the first thing you should go for, you should consider. Education, learn from people, follow people that you know are worthy to follow. You learn. So that's all I have to say about that. You learn. So I don't know if JRE has something to say in regards to that, but for me, I say you learn first.
yeah, I would agree. I definitely agree with that. I don't suggest people just hop in, in terms of, you want to know, you want to understand. I mean, just down to the basics. What is a blockchain, right? What's a ledger? And even just understanding that anyone can view your transactions. They may not know it's you. They don't know it's you unless you put your ledger out there, your information out there, your wallet number out there. So when you conduct transactions on the blockchain, they're anonymous, but they're not, right? So you really need to understand. I think as part of this Web3 conversation is understanding what the blockchain is and the privacy of the blockchain, the process behind the blockchain. What's mining. I mean, these are some. I think some of the basics. And some people come in and saying, "Oh, like me, for instance, if had I known that once I sent my Bitcoin off to someone that I couldn't just reverse it back. Had I thought about that, or had I had the knowledge, I wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Even as much um, a person who likes to invest and who likes to see my money grow and build wealth. I mean, the smart thing to do in that circumstance would have been to educate myself first, not just jump in. Because I've been doing that of just jumping into things so long that I don't have any fear. I just do it. I don't care about what happens until it happens, and then I deal with it from there. That's not always the right approach, right? So since that's not the always the right approach, and although you can benefit from that approach, it doesn't work in every situation and scenario. So you want to make sure that yes, you understand how digital finance works, how digital information works, transactions, you know the database, what a ledger is, what a blockchain is. You have to at least understand those. I would say forensics, in terms of those mediums in the data in the blockchain. You have to understand it. If you don't understand that, I think yes, you can make good money, but if again you send something to someone else on the blockchain and you're like, oh shoot, I need to pull it back. I sent too much. Well, unless they send it back to you, you're not getting that back. Um, and the transaction's already been completed. That's it. So if you don't understand that and you're moving too fast, and again, I've done this even after knowing things. I've sent it doesn't matter the amount, but I've sent enough money to to pay off food for a couple months to a contract address, not paying attention, right? And that was just my ignorance and not slowing down enough. And these are kind of things, mistakes that you can make. You have to take your time and build on your knowledge and education on how to do these kind of things. So you don't make those kind of mistakes. But seriously, learning about the blockchain and how it works will prevent a lot of mistakes in the future. That was just my carelessness of sending money to a contract address, and not paying attention on the So but you don't want to do that. But anyway, yeah, I would say that understanding what the blockchain is. There is a let me see if I can find it. There is a thing called blockchain academy, and let me see if I can find it. Blockchain council. So it will show you how to become a not a I don't want to say a blockchain expert, and I'll put this on the screen, but understanding the blockchain and things of that nature. So you can get certified on the blockchain, understanding blockchain, developing blockchains, AI, and we didn't really get into artificial intelligence as well. Start talking about that, metaverse, for business. So I mean, you can become certified, and I don't think it's that much. I think I paid maybe $300 for one of these blockchain courses, and it didn't take me that long to get through it. But once you get that certificate and you learn how to do those things, even just the basics, you'll be more empowered. If you can start looking at these contracts and saying, no, I'm not doing that. And then you can educate your people and say, hey, look out for this in this contract. They didn't lock the liquidity. They didn't, all these kind of things. Again, we're kind of moving, but I think if looking at that, it still kind of keeps us in this circle of Web3, because these are important things you want to know as you are navigating through the Web3 space, and you're investing your hard-earned money. You wouldn't want to invest your money into a project that, one, they don't have the liquidity lock. People still do. and it has the potential to be rugged. Then they got some malicious code where they can drain your wallets. These are some of the things that you may not be an expert at, but you can kind of gauge and start looking at, and you'll be able to manage. So yes, you want to have, like William saying, you want to have some basic knowledge. It's whatever threshold you're willing to say, okay, this is enough for me. It's enough for me to be able to say I can put in, some money into a project and be okay and be fine with it. If I lose it, I lose it. If not, but at least I have that education behind me on how to do it, what to look for, how to look at the contract, how to look for liquidities lock, and all this kind of stuff. You just kind of pick those things up as you go. If you don't want to, visit the blockchain council or any kind of education, but that's a hard lesson to learn, when you're getting rugged back to back, or you're losing your money because you're not paying attention to market caps and these things, and understanding when people start talking about the blockchain and what they mean, liquidity locked and all this kind of stuff. You have, I believe, you should have some type of basic foundation before you, so that way you really understand what's happening. That's just my point of view.
Woo, man, we have really had a whole lot for today. We really have a whole lot for today. Ruthie is supposed to be my co-host, but the network glitches has really been disturbing, and she couldn't accept my co-host invite. And I'm trying to send. I don't know if it's going through. She's supposed to be my co-host. Ruthie, I see you there on the speaker panel. Ruthie, I don't know if you have one or two things to say quickly before we tend to round it up for today. Ruthie, hello,
Wow, wow,
Ruthie.
wow.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for the super valued how far you just spilled to us for free. Thank you so, so much. Networking is so, so crazy. Like, you can literally get rich by meeting the right people. So thank you very, very much. I just want to ask a question before you go. I think someone has already asked the question, but let me still ask. Like, what advice do you have for someone starting out in networking in the Web3 space?
Um, eh, I'm sorry, Ruthie. Can you how you doing? Can you say that one more time, please? What was?
I
Okay.
said,
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Ruthie. Go ahead. Go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, I said, what advice do you have for someone starting out in networking within the space?
um, that's just starting out to network. I do believe we covered this earlier, but I'm not going to go
Yeah,
through.
that was what I said. Yeah, I said so that someone already asked. So I just want to chip in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did cover that early on in the space, but I think just to kind of summarize, um, if you are just starting out in terms of networking and getting familiar with Web3 and decentralization, and you know, um, have a plan, have yourself a set of criteria that you're willing to, whether you're willing to budge from that or not. But I think having an idea of what you want to accomplish while you're here in the space, don't get wrapped up in the daily things that may happen that you see on a regular basis. For instance, I see a lot of time people we spend time in these spaces and where we learn from each other. Got it. But if there's a lot of monotony and a lot of just foolishness going on in these spaces, uh, you're not gonna learn in terms of, if you're seeking that education on how to build wealth. You're not gonna learn anything from being in those spaces where they're not talking about anything that's educational in terms of advancing your knowledge. If you want to spend and have fun, and I do that too. I'll sit in the space sometimes. I'll listen, I have fun, I'll joke and laugh. But again, if your idea to get wealthy to come into the space, um is to make some money in the space, is to advance your knowledge in Web3, you have to navigate to those kind of spaces like this space here. I'm surprised that we don't have more of individual that's here listening, and I would assume that will expand, and of course it's recording. But I think that you have to have the drive for it. You have to want it, right? It has to be more than just making money. At some point, you should want to advance your knowledge base and want to see yourself grow. If you're still the same that you were last year or even a year before that, you want to stay there. You want to remain there. And it doesn't necessarily mean you do a whole 360. But I think if you want to grow, particularly in this space here, you got to branch out. You got to reach out. You have to take some risks. You have to, um, you know, increase your knowledge. I mean, I was talking about the blockchain console class. So, and take that $300 versus putting it in a project where you think is going to make you the next millionaire and you end up losing that. Take that $300 and invest in a blockchain course, class, whatever, and learn how to create a token. Learn how to build, the infrastructure there and create something. Because you think about BNB, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, AVAX, Cardano. I mean, all this, right? Where'd they start? They started somewhere, right? A plan, a piece of paper. They wrote down whatever notes. It started somewhere, right? You think in terms of Amazon. Look what Amazon is. Amazon's in Web3, right? So Amazon started in Jeff Bezos' garage. I remember in 98, was it 97, 98? So somewhere around that time, I remember when the stock came out and we had opportunity to invest in the stock of Amazon, but it wasn't as big. It was more eBay. eBay was the big thing back then. So in hearing back then the vision of Amazon, I think what eBay was trying to do, but hearing the vision, seeing the vision of what Jeff Bezos wanted to accomplish out of his garage now into almost every major city, a warehouse, right? Bringing products to you, and the technology where you can walk into one of the stores in a mall or something, or wherever these little mini stores are at, and open up the app and pick the products, put them in a bag, and just walk out, and it automatically cashes you out. You automatically you don't have to swipe your card or anything, right? So you think of where we're going in technology 20 years from now. That could be any of you in this room, any of us, right? Could establish something in Web3. Who knows? Excuse me. Web 4, Web 5, Web 10, wherever we're going to be in the next 10, 20 years, right? But a lot of you who are in this room today could be that Jeff Bezos, right? Could be that Mongo who creates a product and asset in Web 3, Web 4, Web 5, Web 20, where it's now, virtually I mean, you can put on the what are those things called from Apple, the Apple, what do you call that? Vision Pro, right? Put the Vision Pro on and you're snapping and you're clicking and you're pushing and you're poking, but you're getting something done by just moving your hands to sensors, right? And who knows where the technology is going to be from that point. You may just put on some glasses or contacts, and it has that. You already seen that in movies. You put the contacts in and you can see beyond a wall or see, what I'm saying? So technology has its growth. It doesn't have a limit. We don't have a limit right now. If you have the money, you have the idea. It starts from idea. But if you have the idea, of course, you have the financial backing to help you push that idea. You can always get the money, but at some point. But the idea is where it starts. The idea in your mind, you write it down, you take it to the next level. Any one of you in this room, in this space, can take that to the next level. So, I guess back to your original question, where do you start? You just get started. Just start. Write it down. Hop in spaces like this. Take your idea to the next level. Go look online. How do I take my idea in Web3 and do this with it? What do I do? How do I write code for the blockchain? How do I start my own project and my own coin? Where do I see myself for the next 10 years with this? How do I create an NFT store whatever you, or AI, the next AI, whatever it's going to be, right? Those all started from ideas. And all they took those ideas, they got the money, and then they pushed it out there. They started building. That's all you have to do. Again, we're all in different financial aspects in here. We all have different backgrounds in technology. And then again, that's the whole purpose of this Web3 motivational space that William has put in. He's saying, look, the technology is there. We just have to network. Why? Because in that network is your net worth in terms of not just financial, but in terms of your growth, your ideas, your visibility, your scalability, what you can bring to the table, what you can do, right? That all ties in together. There could be $1 billion in here right now. You would never know it, right? But you can assume because somebody out of the 100 people, 1,000 people that's been navigating throughout this space in here will create something in this Web3, Web4, Web5, Web10, Web 110, whatever, will create something that will be scalable, and you're able to create a product that everyone can use in the future. It may take some time, but there's someone in here that has that idea. So again, back to your question, Ruthie, just get started. That's all you got to do. Just get started.
Hmm, that's really interesting. Just get started. It's a simple word. Just get started. Whew. Man, I know you guys have actually learned a lot. You guys have actually been motivated a lot. You guys have actually been inspired a lot. That's how we do it here on Web3 Motivation. We try to motivate you, we try to inspire you to get it going. Okay. I know it's actually not easy out there. It's actually not even easy for me. But man, we've just got to do something. Let me just share this quickly. Myself, I am actually a community manager. I make graphic design. Yeah, I have actually make a design for JRE. I think with my other X account, I made a design for his X banner. I think I think about last
Okay,
year
that's
there about.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. So I think that was when we got connected, and I think I saw your banner. And I was like, I could do something better than this, and you were like, okay. Oh, now I remember. I did an what's it called? What's it called? An NFT. I took your picture and I drew it as an NFT for you. I don't know if you remember that.
Which did it have the music in it or no?
No, no, there's no music. It's actually a picture. It's actually a picture. I drew it and I sent it to you. I gave it to you. I think that was my other X account, but it got banned. I don't know. It just got banned. I did that and I gave it to you. And that was when we started connecting. And I was like, okay, I could make a banner for you. And that was it. And that's it. I did that banner for you and all of it. And we started communicating. To that account got banned. And I had to set up a new one and start building back again. That's it. But it's actually amazing. So I've been in the space for some time myself. One thing I came to understand is that there, sooner than later, you would start seeing results. That's what I tell people. I started hosting space just from my thought. I was like, wow, what's going on in the Web3 space? People are actually talking about projects. People are actually talking about projects, how to make money, how to do this. But truth be told, people are actually going through a lot personally. People need motivation. People need to be inspired. We've got newbies coming up on the space. They need to be inspired. That was what brought me about coming up with Web3 motivation. And here we are in Web3 motivation. This is our episode 4, and we are still going to go longer. We're still going to keep bringing up more people to the space. And definitely, I know very well that I'll keep being in touch with JRE. We're going to work together more. We're going to connect more. We're going to learn more together. And man, if you haven't followed him right here, please do well to do that. Give Ruti a follow as well. Follow. Give myself a follow if you haven't yet. I want to say a very big thank you, JRE, for showing up on the space, for serving as a motivation, for all you have been doing in this space, man. You are really awesome. You are really awesome, man. I really appreciate you. Humanity really we all appreciate you. Everyone on this space definitely appreciates you, man, because you are awesome. And guys, we are giving away, sponsored by GRE, $50 to 10%. Just stay cool. Immediately after this space, we're going to put up the winners of the giveaway, because right now I have also screenshotted all the people in this space. I also did that for the last one that got robbed as well. So we'll definitely ensure the winners are on the space from the beginning down to this time, man. Because definitely, if you're on this space, you must have learned a whole lot. Man, shout out to you all. Shout out to you all. Shout out to you all. We're about to call it up for a day. Before we do that, I don't know if you have just one little thing to say to round it up, or so before we cut it up for a day.
Yeah. Again, big shout out to you, Williams, for having this space. I've learned a lot. Um, you often hear that you can motivate yourself, you can build yourself up, and I think that's an important thing too, right? When you get up in the morning and you're getting your day started, and you're about to, go out and conquer whatever you do, even if you got a home based business, whatever. I think it's important to, give thanks, whatever you decide to believe in, you give thanks, but you also have to, you know, pep yourself up too. Step in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, I'm kind, I'm respectful, I'm honest, I have integrity. You self affirmations. That's definitely important, right? As you're growing. Um, Also, I think another thing too here, as we're talking about motivation, right? And don't be afraid to step outside of your box, right? Don't be hesitant to grow and make mistakes and fall on your face and fall forward, right? So if you slip on a banana peel, most times it's you're falling backwards, right? But just think in terms of this way: if you slip on a banana peel and you fall forward, what's the worst that can happen? You might lose a tooth, right? You might bust your nose, right? You might have a gash in your head, or you may not have an injury at all. You just kind of just bumped yourself. But the whole thing about the next step is, what do you do afterward? You get up, right? So don't be afraid to jump outside of your box, fall, and I think I've heard Will Smith even say this, fall forward, but do it often, right? So, and fail. So if you fail, get up. Michael Jordan, fail, 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 fail. Then next he got championships and rings, and but it takes work, it takes dedication. You as soon as you hit a ceiling, find a way to bust that ceiling open and move forward, or go to the next room to your left and go up that way, right? There's many different ways. There's not just one way to be successful in this space, right? And this branches off to any part of your life, anything, right? You can do what you want to do. If it's if it's a there's an integrity issue, there's a financial issue, if there's issue that you may come across, that's why your network is important. If you know somebody who has the finances, maybe reach out to them and say, hey, look, this is what I need, here's my plan, right? What do you think? How can you help me? They may not be able to fund your business 100% or your idea 100%, but I think if you have a good plan, they either may be able to give you some resources from what they have, or give you information on how to obtain those resources somewhere else. So again, don't be afraid to pitch that idea, to grow, to learn how to develop what you're doing here in this space. It's not always about making money. You want to be able to develop, and just think generations will benefit from your idea, right? From what you've created. So when Jeff Bezos goes on to the next life, right, who's going to benefit from that? Everyone else who's coming up behind him, his generation, his family, his next generation, his kids. But technology wise, all of the generations that's coming up will be able to take part in what he created, or him and his team, whatever. So again, all I'm saying to you all, every single one, last one of you that's in this room today, just think as this being, you were meant to be here. You were meant to sit here and listen to this. You were even it, and it may not have been something that you wanted to hear, in terms of, you may have wanted to find out, oh, how can I find that next Web3 project that's going to make me a millionaire? You may have wanted to find out that, But guess what? You got better ideas now. Those neurons in your brain, they're starting to fire up. So you're saying, oh wow, I came here to learn how to make $100 or do this, but now I have an idea that's going to make me a billion or potentially, right? I'm never guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying, with the knowledge and the wisdom that you may have received from this space, take it and apply it. Hopefully, you took notes. Hopefully, you really dialed in onto this space. And I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I didn't know what Williams had. I really didn't. I didn't know what he had planned, but I figured I would just be ready to jump in, to listen, and then to speak, and then give what's in my heart and in my soul. So again, don't be afraid to step outside of your box, step outside your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to fall forward. Don't be afraid to fail, but you should be afraid of not getting back up. Get your butt up, get back into the game, get started, stay motivated, and keep moving forward and keep spreading the love to your next door neighbor anytime that you get it. Give them a piece of your mind, a piece of your ideas, show them something that they may not know. And that is how you build your network, and that is how you build your net worth, is by sharing. And I always say sharing is caring, but just get started.
Hmm. Thank you very much for this powerful words, Jay. Thank you very much. Once again, we really appreciate you for coming up here to share your knowledge, to share your art with us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Come on, guys. I want to see those love emojis out. Let's show JRE some love. Let those love emojis come up. Let us clap emojis. I want to see those emojis from every one of us right here in this place. Please let those emojis come up. Let those emojis come up. I want to see you with those emojis. BHM, Diamond, the Manny, Energ, George Martins, Ruthie, Bawa, Celia, Joel, everyone. I want to see those love emojis out. That's it, man. He deserves the love. He deserves it. He deserves it. Man, he has poured his heart on us tonight. And I know right now, after this space, we are all going to go out there and we are definitely going to build something for ourselves. We are definitely going out there to make a name for ourselves. We are definitely going out there to conquer the Web3 space. And you know how to do it. Just get started. It doesn't matter what you have in your head, the thoughts, the plan, the business, the project, everything. Keep learning, and keep building. Someday, you will definitely get to the top. Thank you guys. Thank you all for joining in on this episode of Web3 Motivation, episode 4. Thank you guys very much. Next week, Saturday, we go again with episode 5 on Web3 Motivation. Sit tight. If you haven't given JRE a follow, do well to do that. Thank you guys once again and have a wonderful night.
Y'all have a good night. Take it easy. All right. And that's it. That was so sometimes I could put my thinking hat on and turn on a different side. But I hope you were able to get some information today. Hopefully it was useful to you. I know I can't always reach everyone, but the goal is one person at a time, right? Excuse me, because you never know who you're speaking with that will motivate you to um, next level, that can take you to the next level in your life. So always be open to receiving, whatever it is. Always be open to receiving. And if it's not for you, then you can move on. But if it is, take some of it and apply it in your everyday life. I wasn't just talking about Web3, but networking and net worth. Those things apply to mostly every area of your life, because it's not just about finances. Um, you can definitely apply those things in every day. Like Empress said there, she wrote a book about her crypto journey, and I think I may have retweeted a while ago, but you can put the link in the section there, Crypto Empress. But anyway, she wrote a book, and takes um that takes a lot of strength to do that, to talk about your journey, where you are. And even with Donald, NFT master there, creation. So we have a lot of people in this space that they have the skill, they have the knowledge to create. And when you can share that information with others and you can help them build, guess what? That builds your network. And of course, it builds your net worth, because you never know. One day somebody could buy 100,000 books, or, you may become a New York's bestseller, or that one NFT that Donald that you create could be that $10 million NFT. You just never know where this is going to lead, but you have to keep trying. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep growing. And if you find yourself again falling forward, the hardest thing to do would be to get back up, due to embarrassment, due to you may have hurt yourself a little bit, but get back up and move forward. Anyway, y'all take it easy. Y'all have a great day. Appreciate you stopping by. I think William's going to do that giveaway a little bit later on, but yeah, I'll probably be doing another giveaway. My mom's birthday is coming up here in 1 second, but her birthday's coming up on the 25th. I think that's Monday. So I'll be honoring her by giving out $1,000 in cheese. She's a cheese connoisseur, so I'm going to give out $1,000 worth of cheese to everyone. Y'all want? I mean, it'll be all kinds of cheeses, Swiss cheese. I'm playing. But I will do a giveaway though, in the government cheese, yeah. But I will do a giveaway in her honor. So anyway, I will see y'all most likely Monday. Y'all take it easy, be blessed, and talk to you soon. Peace. I don't know why I do that little thing. That kind of annoys me. I don't know why I do it. It's just a habit. After every time you got something going on, y'all have a great day.